let me take this mission. ___________. A bright light flashed on the rooftop, and standing before Satria was a stunning blonde woman clad in shining knight armor. She exuded an undeniable aura of royalty, her presence commanding attention as if she were a king standing proudly on the battlefield. She was none other than Arteria Pendragon, the true wielder of Excalibur. "Hello, Your Majesty, welcome to my world," Satria greeted with a polite but teasing tone, his eyes gleaming with amusement. Kiyohime, noticing the new arrival, shot Satria a sharp look. "Who is this, Danasama?" "Another one," she demanded, her protective instincts kicking in. Kurumi chuckled, sensing the tension and quickly stepped in to calm her sister wife. "Relax, Kiyohime-san. This is Arteria Pendragon, a member of the group chat. She's here to deal with a man named Kokabeel. And just so you know, she's already taken by another male member." Kiyohime's eyes narrowed before her posture softened, relieved by the explanation. Arteria looked at Satria with mild amusement. "You're the one they call the evil spirit, right? To think you ended up with this jester." There was no hiding the disdain in her voice as she sized him up. Kurumi smirked, unfazed by the insult. "My jester defeated your god. Aren't you ashamed, King of Knights?" she shot back, her tone sharp and playful, clearly enjoying the verbal sparring. A silent spark flickered between the two women. Satria pouted. "How dare you call me a jester while I'm standing here? I demand a court," he said, clearly displeased by the disrespect. From the side, Albion, Satria's companion, spoke up in a cautious tone, his voice tinged with respect. "She's strong, Valyana. Perhaps even stronger than Arthur in your team." Valyana, intrigued but not yet convinced, transformed into her balance breaker form. Without hesitation, she threw a quick punch at Arteria, testing her strength. Arteria effortlessly blocked the strike with her invisible sword, her expression unchanged. "What's the meaning of this?" Arteria asked, raising an eyebrow as she regarded Valyana. "I wanted to test your strength," Valyana replied, her grin widening. "You're a descendant of King Arthur, right? Let's see who's stronger, you or him." Arteria paused, taken aback. "My descendant," she repeated, surprised by the comment. She hadn't known she had descendants in this world. Before the situation could escalate further, Satria stepped between the combatants, raising a hand to stop them. "Hold on," Satria said, his voice cutting through the tension. "Just to clarify, this blonde is not a descendant of King Arthur." Valyana blinked, confused. If she's not King Arthur's descendant, then why does her family name say Pendragon? Satria's smile widened as he revealed the truth. "Because she is the real King Arthur." "What?" Valyana and Albion gasped in unison, unable to comprehend the revelation. "Impossible." Albion shook his head in disbelief. Valyana stood frozen, her eyes wide with disbelief, while Albion struggled to wrap his mind around it. King Arthur, the knight her friend had admired and revered, was no mere myth but flesh and blood, and here she was. A woman. Arteria, unaffected by their shock, stepped forward with a firm expression. "Now you know the truth," she said, her voice cold yet resolute. "But there is no time for admiration or questions. I have business to settle with them." Her eyes glinted with contempt as she spoke of the men who had dared to mock her sacred weapon. "The time has come for the King of Britain herself to show the world the true power of Excalibur." To be continued. Chapter 76, Chapter 62. The True Heroes of Justice. Kyoah Academy. Kyoah, Japan. "Wait." Satria held up a hand, stopping the blonde knight in her tracks. Arteria turned to him, raising an eyebrow. "What's wrong?" "Let's not rush in," Satria said, his tone measured. "I want to test how far my kitten can go. Plus, I have a feeling Kokabeel is holding back his trump cards. This version of him feels smarter than the one I know. Artoria studied him for a moment before nodding. Fair enough. Recklessness is the path to failure. But if things spiral, I will act immediately. Sure. Satria gave her a sly smile, but their conversation was interrupted by the familiar chime of a dimensional chat notification. Satria glanced at the message and grinned. Looks like Fran cleared a special mission alone. That kitten never fails to impress. Fran. Valyana tilted her head. Who's that? She's Darling's favorite kitten in the group chat, Kurumi teased, smirking as she glanced at Satria. Kia Him's eyes narrowed dangerously, her piercing gaze locking onto her husband. Favorite kitten, you say? Satria immediately looked away, awkwardly scratching his cheek. Come on, don't take it like that. She's just a group member with potential, that's all. Artoria stepped in, cutting through the tension. Naruto said the same thing. According to him, Fran has remarkable potential. With proper guidance, she could surpass even that perverted black cat. Perverted black cat. Valyana's eyes lit up with interest. Meanwhile, the battle below intensified. Rias, Akeno, and Issei launched a combined assault against Kokabeel, but their efforts were in vain. The fallen angel easily swatted away their attacks with an aura of smug confidence. On the other side, Konako, Irina, and Ravel teamed up against Cerberus. The three girls managed to take down the monstrous beast after an intense struggle, their teamwork finally overcoming the creature's strength. Kaiba, now wielding his sword birth ability infused with holy and demonic energy, fought alongside Zenobia. The duo traded blows with Freed, who wielded the fused Excalibur. However, the overwhelming power of the 5 Excalibur fragments left Kaiba and Zenobia battered and outmatched. This isn't how it went in the anime, Satria muttered, running a hand through his hair in frustration. They're supposed to destroy Excalibur here, not get demolished by it. Fatalis chimed in from within his mind. It's because you gave Kokabeel an extra fragment. By your hand, Freed now wields 5 fused Excaliburs. You've altered the plotline significantly. Satria smiling nervously, his expression troubled. Fatalis wasn't wrong. In his presence, the world of DxD was no longer the same. Ravel wasn't even supposed to be here, yet there she was, exchanging sharp words with Konako as they stood over the defeated Cerberus. Valyana crossed her arms, watching the battlefield with narrowed eyes. The outcome's obvious. If you don't step in soon, they'll die. Kurumi leaned against Satria, her tone playful but carrying a serious undertone. So, darling, what's the plan? Are we just going to watch, or do you intend to step in and change the game again? Satria smirked. Oh, I'll step in when the time's right. For now, let's enjoy the show and see just how much they can endure. Do you see now, Kokabeel-sama? This is the power of the fused Excalibur. Valper declared triumphantly, his voice echoing across the battlefield. Zenobia staggered backward, her grip trembling. Even with this, we can't win. We're not strong enough. Damn you! Valper! Kaiba roared, his rage igniting as he recalled the friend's sacrifice to create the Excalibur fragments. His fury made him reckless, but even that wasn't enough to bridge the gap. Time to end this. Kill them, Freed! Valper barked. With pleasure. Freed lunged forward, his fused Excalibur gleaming with destructive energy. But before his attack could connect, a sudden clash rang out as his strike was intercepted. What the hell? Who are you? Freed yelled, stumbling back. The dust cleared, revealing a figure with blonde hair and clad in majestic armor. Her presence exuded an undeniable aura of royalty and command. Call me Saber, the woman said firmly, her eyes locked onto Freed. And I am here to destroy that abomination. With one swift motion, Artoria raised her invisible blade, shattering the fused Excalibur into fragments with an explosion of power. The battlefield fell silent. Everyone, allies and enemies alike, stared in awe at the knight who radiated the essence of a true king. You have to be kidding me. That's Excalibur. How could you destroy it in one strike? Fried screamed, his manic bravado faltering. No. This is impossible. Valper stumbled back, his mind unable to process what had just occurred. Before anyone could react, Kokabeel launched a spear of light at Valper, piercing him clean through. Blood splattered as Valper crumpled to the ground. Gah! Why? Valper gasped, his voice weak as he stared at Kokabeel. You've outlived your usefulness, Valper, Kokabeel said coldly, stepping over the man's lifeless body. His crimson eyes shifted toward Artoria. And you, who are you to interfere in the war between heaven and hell? Artoria raised her chin, her voice steady and commanding. You dared insult Excalibur with your mockery of its name. I am here to bring punishment to those who disgrace it. Kokabeel sneered, creating dozens of spears of light around him. I don't know your connection to that sword, mortal, but you've stepped beyond your boundaries. Die! Before the spears could be launched, a sudden gust of wind roared through the battlefield. Tempest of Dragon Fang. A powerful wave of sharp, compressed air in the form of a massive dragon tore through the sky. The winds engulfed Kokabeel's spears, shredding them to nothing before speeding toward him. What? Kokabeel barely managed to dodge, but the attack grazed his right arm, leaving a deep cut. All eyes turned toward the source of the attack. From above, Satria leaped down to the battlefield, landing gracefully beside Artoria. Kurumi appeared next to him, her elegant yet menacing aura sending chills through Kokabeel's forces. Senpai! Who is he, thieving cat? Shin-san! Shin-sama! You again! What do you want this time, Shin? Rias demanded, her voice tinged with both exasperation and relief. Satria smirked. Oh, nothing much. Just saving all your sorry asses. You should be grateful this handsome devil took the time to help you. Irina pointed an accusatory finger at him. You're a devil too. Another human corrupted by evil. Satria rolled his eyes. No, no, no. It's just a figure of speech, girlie. Relax. Irina sighed in relief but still eyed him warily. Kokabeel growled, his patience wearing thin. One by one, insects crawl out of their nests. I don't know who you are, but prepare to be annihilated. Kurumi chuckled darkly, resting her chin on Satria's shoulder. My, such confidence. Should we crush his pride, darling? Kokabeel's expression darkened as the three faced him. Do you really think 3 humans can stop me? Many magic circles lit up the rooftop, their glow ominous and foreboding. From within them, 100 fallen angels emerged, their black wings spread wide as they encircled the battlefield. It can't be. Rias's voice wavered as she assessed the overwhelming forces surrounding them. We're completely surrounded, Kaiba muttered, his sword trembling slightly in his grasp. This is insane, Irina stammered, gripping her weapon tightly. One Kokabeel is already a nightmare to deal with, and now this. Zenobia gritted her teeth, her knuckles white as she clutched her sword. What should we do, Baku? Akeno asked, her calm facade starting to crack. Rias hesitated, despair clouding her crimson eyes. I don't know, Akeno. We may have to retreat. Her words sent a chill through her peerage. For Rias Gremory to suggest retreat meant their situation was truly dire. Kokabeel floated above them, his sadistic grin growing wider as he observed their despair. That's the look I wanted to see. Such delicious hopelessness. He spread his arms dramatically. Now, while you wallow in despair, let me share something you should. Blah, blah, blah. Satria's voice interrupted, his tone dismissive as he waved a hand. Crocodile's grin faltered. As I was saying, you should. Blah, blah, blah. Satria repeated, louder this time, earning a few startled glances from the others. Crocodile's left eye twitched. Listen carefully, because this is important. You should. Blah, blah, blah. Wow, you sure love to hear yourself talk, hey. Satria crossed his arms, feigning boredom. Stop interrupting my speech, you lowly human. Crocodile bellowed, his booming voice causing a few of the fallen angels to flinch. Everyone turned to Satria, a mix of disbelief and exasperation plastered on their faces. Kurumi let out a soft sigh as she watched Satria's antics unfold, rubbing her temple with a mix of exasperation and affection. I just told him not to behave like this in front of enemies, and yet here he is. Artoria, standing poised beside her, raised a brow at the gothic beauty. Does he always act like this? Kurumi hesitated, her golden eye darting away as she awkwardly brushed a strand of hair back. I have no comments regarding that. Meanwhile, Kiyohime turned an impressive shade of pink as she clenched her fists, trying to make herself invisible. Stupid Danasama! Why must he act so weird in front of everyone? It's so embarrassing. Valyana placed a hand on Kiyohime's shoulder, her smirk laced with understanding. You should give up. Trust me, it's easier to just accept it and pretend this isn't reality. Works like a charm. Kiyohime glared at her, determined. I refuse to normalize this. We must try harder to fix our beloved husband and turn him into a proper gentleman. Good luck with that, Valyana replied with a chuckle. This isn't the time for jokes, Shin-san. Issei's voice cracked as he yelled at Satria, his face red with frustration. And would you stop provoking him? Zenobia snapped, her tone sharp. You could at least show some respect to your enemies. Rias, meanwhile, stared at the scene in disbelief. How could this guy ever be called the Ice Prince? She pinched the bridge of her nose. Are the students in QA completely out of their minds? Ha 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 ha, you're too funny. Satria doubled over laughing, clearly enjoying the growing tension. Crocodile's eye twitched, his patience wearing dangerously thin. Why are you laughing? Is there something amusing here, boy? Satria straightened up, his smirk widening as he pointed dramatically at Crocodile. You may think we've fallen into your trap, but let me tell you something, Kyokangbile. It's Crocodile, the fallen angel growled. Satria ignored him, continuing his dramatic pose. And let me guess your next line will be, God is dead. Isn't that right? The battlefield fell silent, the words hitting like a thunderclap. Rias and her peerage froze, a mix of shock and disbelief plastered across their faces. You. Crocodile stammered, visibly shaken. His fiery arrogance dimmed for a moment as his gaze narrowed on Satria. How could you possibly know that? The fallen angel's mind raced. Who is this human? I've never seen him in my long life. Could he be reading my thoughts? No, that's impossible. A human couldn't. There is no God. Kaiba's voice broke as he stared blankly at the ground. The revelation shattered his composure, and memories of the past began to resurface. Then, what did we waste our lives for in that facility? What was it all for? You're lying! Zenobia shouted, her hands trembling as she tightened her grip on her sword. That can't be true. God can't be. Artoria's expression hardened when she processed Satria's words. God, is truly dead in this world? She asked, her voice low but firm. Crocodile smirked, sensing her disbelief. Sadly, it's true. We could have won the Great War, but that fool Azazel proclaimed, there will be no second war. And that was the end of it. I couldn't bear the humiliation. If the fallen angels had taken over, we wouldn't need to rely on these pitiful humans anymore. Artoria's grip on her invisible sword tightened, her stoic composure cracking ever so slightly. This world's reality weighed heavily on her noble heart, but she remained silent, observing Kokabeel with a mixture of pity and disdain. Kokabeel turned his attention back to Satria, his narrowed eyes scanning him. You! How could a mere human know such forbidden knowledge? Satria's smirk widened, radiating an infuriating confidence. I can see it on your face, Kyokangbil. You're wondering, how does this guy know? Or maybe, can he read my mind? Kokabile's eye twitched. But those aren't the real questions you should be asking, Satria continued, his tone turning mockingly dramatic. The question is, should I run away now like a coward from the amazing me? Or not? He extended an arm toward Kokabeel in mock magnanimity. Feel free to run, by the way. I promise I won't chase you down. Go on, Kyokangbil. Run. Kokabile's voice boomed with rage. You dare mock me, you feeble human. One of Kokabile's lieutenants stepped forward, sneering at Satria. My lord, allow me to handle this insolent worm. I'll make him beg for mercy. Another chimed in, his lips curling into a wicked grin. No, I'll be the one to crush him. I'll end his pathetic existence myself. The other fallen angels jeered and shouted, their mocking voices filling the air. Satria tilted his head, feigning curiosity. Oh? They're quite feisty, aren't they? Your minions, Kyokangbil, like a pack of mangy dogs barking at the slightest disturbance. The jab landed with precision, and Kokabile's entire body stiffened. ______. Pervert sage, there's always someone like this Kokabeel in every world. His face, it's the face of someone who's lost everything and can't move on. Death, a man blinded by revenge, then. How quaint. Spider-Man, wait, hold up. God is dead? Is that even possible? Cookie's maniac, why doesn't Satria just take him out already? He's definitely strong enough, right? Kazuma-sama, oh, that's simple. He loves playing with his enemies. It's like a twisted game to him. Robin, wait, does that mean he's a sadist? Kazuma-sama, nah, not like us death or evil. Satria's just, well, childish. Like a kid messing around with his toys. Robin, honestly? I think I'd prefer that over him going all out and wiping out everything in one go. Kazuma-sama, true. But that's what makes him so fascinating, right? He's not just one thing. He can be wise when he wants to be, kind when it suits him, brilliant when the situation demands it. But he can also be scary, evil, or just a total idiot for no reason at all. He's like an enigma wrapped in chaos. ______. Kokabile's fury boiled over, his wings flaring as he glared at Satria. It was rare for someone to belittle him this blatantly and live. His lips curled into a cruel snarl. You insolent wretch! I'll make you pay for that remark. I'll tear you apart, limb by limb, and silence your filthy mouth forever. Satria stood unfazed, still smirking as if daring him to try. That's the spirit, Kyokangbil. Come on, show me what you've got. Kill them! Kokabeel roared, commanding his minions to attack Satria and the others. I'll take him down myself. No. He's mine. Then let's end him together. Die, you lowly human! Satria smirked as his opponents charged. He extended his hand, conjuring threads of energy formed from the speed force and infused with arcane power. With a swift motion, he coated the threads in advanced armament haki, turning them razor-sharp. In a single, fluid movement, he slashed through the attackers. Their bodies were cleanly decapitated, and blood sprayed across the battlefield like crimson rain. The scene left Kokabile's remaining forces frozen in fear, their bravado instantly shattered. What kind of monster is he? Satria glanced at his handiwork, his expression calm yet calculating. That flamingo's technique was definitely worth studying. I'll have to thank him if he ever joins the chat. He was, of course, referencing a certain Shishibukai from the One Piece world. Don't falter, you cowards! Kokobile barked, trying to rally his troops. Attack! But before they could move, Satria raised his hand again. Room! A massive blue sphere of energy enveloped the battlefield, surrounding Kokobile and his minions. What is this? One of the fallen angels stammered, staring at the mysterious sphere. This is no ordinary magic, another muttered, clearly unsettled. Satria grinned and made a slicing gesture with his hand. Shambles! In an instant, Kokobile's minions were severed into pieces, but to their horror, they remained alive, their body parts floating in suspended animation. What's happening? I've been cut in half, but I'm still alive. This can't be real. Satria's grin widened as he snapped his fingers. Let's make things a bit more interesting. With a wave of his hand, he reassembled their bodies in grotesque, mismatched ways. What the hell? Why is my leg attached to your body? Hey! Get your head out of my ugh! This is so weird. I can't even hold my weapon like this. The battlefield descended into chaos as Kokobile's forces flailed helplessly, unable to fight in their bizarre new forms. What kind of magic is this? One of the fallen angels screamed, their voice trembling with both confusion and terror. Satria turned to Kokobile, his grin sharp and mocking. So, what's next, Kyokangbile? Your troops seem a little disorganized. Care to join the fun? Kokobile's eyes narrowed, his frustration boiling over. Damn you, human! You think parlor tricks like this can stop me? But deep inside, even Kokobile couldn't deny the growing unease. This wasn't a fight, this was a nightmare orchestrated by a man who played by no rules but his own. Hubby has yet another weird ability, hey! Valyana muttered to herself, both intrigued and amused. Her husband was an endless enigma, full of surprises. Is that magic? No, it doesn't feel like magic, Albion pondered, his voice filled with confusion. But then, what is it? Danasama, it's bad manners to play with your food, Kiyohime sighed, watching Satria like a mother scolding her child for toying with his dinner. Meanwhile, the others reacted with awe and disbelief. He can do something like this too. Issei's eyes widened in amazement, unable to hide his admiration. This man is not normal. Drake growled within Issei's mind. How much power does he have hidden inside him? Shinsama is amazing. Asia clasped her hands together, her expression filled with admiration. As expected of Senpai, he always exceeds expectations, Konako said calmly, though her pride in her boyfriend was evident in her tone. Is he truly human? Ravel's voice was tinged with both curiosity and awe. She didn't know who this mysterious, handsome man was, but she was eager to learn more. Is that his sacred gear? But, there's no weapon or anything like that, Zenobia mused, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. He's so strong, Irina murmured, her eyes glued to Satria. Rias, however, felt a growing unease. Her expression darkened as she observed Satria from a distance. This isn't normal, she muttered to herself. He's obliterating Kokobile's forces like it's nothing. Who is this man? What is he? On the battlefield, Kokobile's forces began to regroup, desperate to salvage the situation. Darling's having fun, isn't he? Kurumi remarked, her tone light and playful as she observed Satria's antics from the sidelines. One of Kokobile's lieutenants barked a command to his remaining soldiers. Forget about him. If we can't defeat him, we'll target the others. Go for her, he shouted, pointing at Kurumi. Take her down. 10 fallen angels darted toward Kurumi, their holy weapons drawn, their speed and precision deadly. Kurumi smirked, her crimson eye glowing ominously. Oh, how bold of you! She stretched out her hand, her aura dark and foreboding. Let me show you the gift I received from the dimensional chat. Courtesy of a certain no-life king. Before the fallen angels could strike, Kurumi's shadow expanded, consuming the ground beneath her. From the darkness, countless glowing red eyes appeared, followed by monstrous shadowy figures, her familiars. What is this? One of the fallen angels stammered, their voice trembling. The shadows lunged at them, dragging them into the abyss one by one. Their screams echoed, but they were muffled, as though swallowed by an endless void. Kurumi tilted her head, her grin growing wider. Oh, don't worry. I won't let you die just yet. I want you to feel what true terror tastes like. One of the fallen angels, desperate, slashed wildly at the shadows, but his attacks were meaningless. The shadowy figures reformed instantly, laughing in distorted voices that sent shivers down his spine. You monster, he cried, his voice breaking. Kurumi chuckled softly, her voice dripping with malice. Oh, sweetie. Monster? That's far too kind. Let me show you what true horror is. She raised her hand, and the shadows converged, twisting the bodies of the fallen angels in grotesque and impossible ways before tossing them aside like broken dolls. Cockabille's forces, witnessing the scene, froze in terror. She's not human. Run! Run! Kurumi stepped forward, her dark aura radiating like a storm. What's wrong? Weren't you so eager to attack me just a moment ago? Unbelievable, Ravel murmured under her breath, watching as Kurumi, with just a flick of her wrist, turned the tide in her favor. Her casual command over the terror she invoked seemed almost effortless, as if she was enjoying a game. Kia Him's gaze softened, her admiration for her husband's strange taste in allies deepening. I understand now why Danasama captivated by her. She watched as Kurumi toyed with the fallen angels, her movements precise and calculated, each one a masterpiece of destruction. Valyana, unable to hide her awe, spoke in disbelief, she is different. Her power isn't just force, it's fear itself. She was trying to process the combination of deadly intent and grace that Kurumi exhibited with every move she made. Satria, watching from the middle of the battlefield, let out a small chuckle. You're really showing off now, aren't you? He remarked, shaking his head in slight amusement. Just a little fun, Kurumi replied coolly, never breaking her gaze from her enemies. Isn't that how a battlefield should be? Phew phew phew. Her laughter echoed across the battlefield, chilling everyone who heard it to the bone. Leave some of them for me, Artoria said, her tone firm but composed. Sure, they're all yours, Kurumi replied with a sly smile as she stepped back, allowing Artoria to take the stage. Artoria began to move, her steps graceful yet precise, cutting down Cockabille's minions one by one with her blade. The fallen angels tried to retaliate, hurling light spears at her, but they disintegrated upon contact with her, rendered useless against her immense magic resistance. Zenobia, Irina, and Kaiba watched in awe, their disbelief painted across their faces. Her swordsmanship, it's beyond human, Zenobia whispered, gripping her sword tightly as she tried to comprehend Artoria's prowess. She's cutting through them like they're nothing. Who is she? Irina asked, her voice tinged with both admiration and confusion. She's leagues ahead of us. Her technique, her presence, it's almost divine, Kaiba muttered, unable to take his eyes off the battle. The fallen angels were losing morale quickly. One of them managed to retreat to Cockabille, only to be greeted with a harsh kick from their leader. You incompetent fool! How dare you call yourself a fallen angel when you crumble before mere humans? Cockabille roared, his fury evident. From the sidelines, Rias observed the scene, her mind racing. They're incredibly powerful, she thought, watching Satria, Kurumi, and Artoria effortlessly dismantle Cockabille's forces. If only I could recruit them to my peerage. But how? What could I possibly offer them? Amidst the chaos, Satria called out loudly, his voice cutting through the battlefield. Hey, Kyokangbeel! Cockabille's head snapped toward him, his expression darkening. Don't you dare call me by that name, you insolent human! Kokabille snarled, his wings flaring menacingly. Satria grinned, unfazed by the display. Oh? Did that bother you? I thought it was a cute nickname. It suits you. You dare mock me? I do not tolerate such disrespect, you damned mortal! Kokabille growled, his eyes blazing with fury. Satria casually waved a hand, his smirk widening. Oh, relax, Kyokangbeel. What's the matter? Are you mad at me? Well, if you're so upset, why don't you stop hiding behind your minions and face me yourself? Kokabille glared, his body trembling with rage. Don't tell me, are you scared? Satria taunted, his tone dripping with mockery. It's okay. I can't really blame you. After all, I am quite terrifying. The smug grin on Satria's face was the final straw. Cockabille's aura flared with intense power, the ground beneath him cracking under the sheer pressure of his rage. You arrogant wretch! I'll make you regret every word! Kokabille shouted, his voice echoing through the battlefield. Satria simply shrugged, his grin unwavering. Well then, come on, Kyokangbeel. Show me what you've got. As Kokabille continued to seethe with rage, Satria maintained his casual, amused demeanor, as if the entire battle was nothing more than a game. The moment was almost too perfect for him to resist, the fear and frustration swirling in Cockabille's eyes only fueled his mischievous grin. Danasama is too much sometimes. Kiyohime watched her husband's antics with a mix of admiration and concern. She always wondered how he could be so playful in the midst of battle, making even their enemies look foolish. Valyana couldn't help but join in on the fun. Is he trying to scare Kokabille? Honestly, it's so cute, I just want to spoil him instead of fight. This is the cutest intimidation tactic I've ever seen. Kurumi, leaning against a nearby pillar, chuckled softly, watching Satria toy with Kokabille. Trying to intimidate him? How adorable! It's almost like watching a cat play with a mouse. He's so cute when he gets like this. Her voice was teasing, but there was a hint of genuine affection in her tone, as if she enjoyed seeing him shine, even if in such a bizarre way. Kokabille, his rage boiling over, raised his light sword, ready to strike at Satria. But just as he prepared to move forward, his body suddenly felt frozen. The ground beneath him seemed to stretch farther away as he involuntarily took a step back instead of charging. Hey! Kokabille blinked in disbelief, his instincts fighting against whatever was happening to him. He tried to push forward but found himself unable to move as freely as he once had. Satria, wearing a smirk that could only be described as pure amusement, casually leaned forward, a glint of mockery in his eyes. Who? Instead of coming at me, you decide to back down? Nice decision, Kyokangbeel. I didn't know you were so scared of me. A playful melody began to hum through the air, an ominous track that echoed the power of Satria's antics. Everyone around, from Cockabille's minions to Ria's peerage, could sense something off, though none could quite pinpoint it. Impossible, Kokabille thought, his mind racing. I was supposed to be charging at him, not backing away. He couldn't understand what was happening. One moment he was lunging, the next he was helplessly retreating. Satria let out a quiet laugh, clearly enjoying the moment. Ha ha ha! How about I give you a chance, Crow? Take 2 steps back, and I'll consider you my nakama. What do you think, Kokabille? Come on, follow me in the path of enlightenment. The audacity of the offer was met with stunned silence from everyone present. No one in their right mind would ever ask a being like Kokabille, a high-ranking fallen angel, to become a subordinate. But Satria was doing just that, effortlessly turning the tables on the once mighty foe. Furious, Kokabille flared his immense wings, releasing an aura so powerful it shook the ground. "Enough," he bellowed, his fury now directed entirely at Satria. "A brat like you dares to ask me, the great Kokabeel, to be your subordinate. You'll pay for this insolence." He once again attempted to strike, but to his growing horror, the same thing happened. His body froze mid-motion, forcing him to step back, much to his frustration. Satria, seeing the now desperate Kokabeel, couldn't contain his laughter. "Oh, I see. Kyokangbil, you really want to join my side, huh? Instead of charging at me, you took another step back. Ha ha ha. I guess you're just too terrified to face me. It's okay, it's natural. You can admit it." Kokabile's face twisted with disbelief. What are you doing to me?" His eyes darted around, trying to make sense of the situation, but there was no escape. His pride was crumbling as he slowly realized the truth. He was at the mercy of this human, and there was nothing he could do to break free. "This can't be happening. I'm the great Kokabeel. How could I be afraid of a puny human like you?" Satria's grin widened as he leaned in, his voice dripping with mockery. "What's the matter, Kokabeel? Losing your composure? I mean, doesn't one lose their composure when they're afraid? Or is it that deep down, you know you can't defeat me, and your body subconsciously backs down? What's it like to feel so powerless?" In the background, Fatalis, the ever-watchful observer, couldn't help but roll her eyes. "You really enjoy trolling people, don't you, puppy?" Kokabile's fury reached a boiling point. "Impossible," he shouted again, his wings flapping wildly as his power surged. "I'm Kokabeel. I'm not scared of you. Hell will freeze before I submit to a brat like you." But it was too late. The truth was out. Kokabeel was already losing, not because he was weaker, but because Satria had already won. The fallen angel leader, once a symbol of terror, was now reduced to a trembling figure, questioning his own fear. The subordinates of Kokabeel, watching in stunned silence, could only look at each other in disbelief. Their once formidable leader was being dismantled mentally and emotionally by a single human. Their resolve faltered. If their leader was afraid, what chance did they have? Rias Peerage watched from the sidelines, unable to intervene. For them, this wasn't just a battle, it was the stuff of legend. They knew that their place wasn't to interfere in this clash of titans, but even they couldn't help but marvel at Satria's complete dominance. Behind the scenes, time itself had been frozen by Satria's power, allowing him to toy with Kokabeel to his heart's content. It wasn't that Kokabeel was weak, it was just that Satria was playing a different game altogether, one where victory was assured before the battle even started. What are you?" Kokabeel gasped, his voice shaky as he realized the truth. He had no idea what he was facing. "How could someone like this exist? How can someone like you be this strong?" "Excuse me for a second, troublesome person already here," Valyana said to Kyoheim, sensing Azazel's presence. With a flicker of her power, she teleported to him. "What are you doing here, Azazel?" she asked with a raised eyebrow. Azazel gave a small, knowing smile. "I just wanted to see this interesting human in action," he replied, his voice full of intrigue. "Who? So you're interested in him too, hey?" Valyana teased, playing the fool as she leaned casually against the air. Azazel's smile widened. "It's not every day I get to see Kokabeel get played like this. Now, show me what you've got, young man," he said, clearly excited to see how this would unfold. Satria stood tall, his expression changing to one of unshakable seriousness. "You all want to know my real identity, don't you? Because you've proven yourselves worthy opponents, let me reveal my true self," he declared. A tense silence filled the air. Everyone present turned their full attention to him, their eyes wide with anticipation. They were all dying to know who the man was who had the power to make Kokabeel, one of the strongest fallen angels, cower. Rias couldn't hide her curiosity. His true self, she thought. What could it possibly be? Issei was on edge. So this is it. Shin-san's real identity. This could change everything. Drake felt a surge of excitement. This is the start of something huge. The supernatural world will never be the same again. Konako bit her lip, watching her senpai closely. Is he sure about this? Everyone's going to focus on him now. Kurumi furrowed her brow, sensing the weight of the moment. This isn't necessary, darling. There's no need to draw so much attention to yourself. Azazel, who had been watching quietly, couldn't help but smile. This is interesting. Who are you, young man? He asked, leaning forward with genuine curiosity. Valyana stood beside him, her thoughts running in circles. What's he thinking? He said he didn't want to reveal himself to the world, and now he does this. Kiyohime had a worried look on her face. I have a bad feeling about this, she muttered. Fatalis, ever the voice of reason, sighed heavily. No. Please stop him. Anyone. You're such a stupid little brat. But it was too late. Satria's body began to glow with an intense, blinding light, radiating power and energy. His form shifted, and a strange costume materialized around him. When the light finally dimmed, Satria stood there, dressed in an outlandish, brightly colored Vaporeon outfit. His stance was dramatic, his hand raised in a heroic pose. My name is Shin, the god of Vaporeon, from the Hill of Teletubbies. I am here to defeat evil and protect the weak. Prepare yourselves to be defeated by the true hero of justice, Kyokangbeel. Satria declared, his voice booming with exaggerated enthusiasm, as though he were auditioning for a role in a children's show. The entire battlefield went deathly silent for a moment, as everyone struggled to comprehend what they had just witnessed. Kokabeel, his face twisted with disbelief and rage, let out a scream of fury. You! I'll kill you, Shin, he roared, his wings flapping violently as he charged at Satria, intent on ending this mockery. To be continued. Chapter 77, Side Story, Fran, Blade of Satria. Anything wrong, Fran? Baban's tone was laced with worry as he noticed the young girl's foul mood. Her frown deepened, and her grip on him her wielder tightened slightly. His thoughts raced. Is she upset about something? Shishao. Fran's quiet voice broke his thoughts. What is a girlfriend to a man? Baban froze, caught off guard by the sudden and oddly specific question. Hey? Why are you asking about that? Just answer me. Fran's dark aura intensified as she flashed him a small, yet terrifying smile. Baban gulped. There was no escaping this. A girlfriend is someone a man loves. Someone he shares a close, special bond with. It's someone he wants to spend his life with, someone he promises to be loyal to. He hesitated before adding firmly, and you're way too young to be worrying about boyfriends or girlfriends. Fran silently absorbed his answer, her expression unreadable. But deep inside, her thoughts churned like a storm. So that's what it means? But, isn't he already doing that with multiple women? Her tiny hands clenched into fists. I won't let that happen. He belongs to me and me alone. Determined, Fran opened her reward screen from a recent group mission with Satria. _____. Congratulations! You have obtained the memory of Malenia, Blade of Mikela. Description: Malenia, the demigod child of Queen Marika the Eternal and Radagon of the Golden Order, was cursed with scarlet rot, a disease that consumed her body. Despite her affliction, she pursued power relentlessly, training under a blind swordsman and earning reverence as an invincible goddess. As the Blade of Mikela, she vowed to protect her brother at all costs. Accept the memory. Yes/no. ______. Fran's eyes glimmered with intrigue. A warrior so powerful that she's worshipped as a goddess. I want to be like that. I want to become strong enough to protect him. With steely resolve, Fran selected yes. The moment she did, an excruciating pain erupted in her mind, sending her to her knees. Ah! Fran clutched her head, her small hands trembling under the immense strain. Fran! Baban's voice rang out, panic gripping him. He immediately cast a healing spell. Healing magic, serenity. A soft, soothing light enveloped her, easing her pain but not stopping it entirely. The oppressive aura in the dungeon thickened as a new presence emerged, its malicious intent palpable. A guttural laugh echoed through the chamber. He. I thought I was imagining things when I heard a little girl's voice in my domain, a grating voice sneered. From the shadows stepped a horned demon with crimson skin, jagged teeth, and a grotesque, towering form. Its hungry eyes locked on Fran. What luck, young, tender meat! Allow me to relieve you of this cruel world and make you part of me. With a feral grin, the demon lunged, claws extended. __. Special mission for Kuroniko, defeat or escape from the greater demon. __. Why now of all times? Baban cursed, panic setting in. We're in no shape to face something like that. Before he could act, Fran moved like a blur. In one swift motion, she severed the demon's arms with terrifying precision. A fountain of dark blood gushed as the creature howled in agony. Gwa. You dare! The demon staggered back, its dismembered limbs twitching. Fran straightened, her once innocent demeanor replaced by a chillingly calm presence. Her voice, colder than ice, echoed through the chamber. Thou art not worthy to oppose me, lowly demon. Leave now, or face the consequences of thy hubris. Baban's jaw dropped. He barely recognized her. What's happened to you, Fran? You insolent brat, the demon roared, its aura darkened with rage. Tell me your name before I tear you apart. Fran didn't flinch. Her golden eyes blazed with determination as she raised her blade. I am Fran, blade of Satria. And from this moment forth, I vow to never allow myself to fall to anyone, for his sake. The demon let out a guttural growl and prepared to strike again. But Fran, standing resolute, was ready to show the overwhelming strength she had just inherited. Side end. Chapter 78, Chapter 63. The Weight of Vengeance. Kyoa Academy. Kyoa, Japan. Valyana's face turned crimson as she stared at her husband in disbelief. What the hell is that idiot doing? She exclaimed, her voice a mix of outrage and embarrassment. I knew it. This guy is definitely going to pull some ridiculous stunt. Albion's laughter echoed in her mind, completely amused by the absurdity of Satria's antics. Meanwhile, Azazel couldn't contain himself. He clutched his stomach, tears streaming down his face. Wahahaha! This is priceless. That guy is one of a kind. Kurumi, on the other hand, was banging her head lightly against the nearest wall. This is a nightmare. There's no way that dumbass is my boyfriend. It's not real. She groaned, visibly mortified. Kiyohime, however, didn't share the humor. Her lips curved into a chilling smile, and her voice dropped into an ominous tone. What a bad puppy Danasama is. He needs discipline. I'll make sure to teach him a proper lesson later. Meanwhile, among Rias's group, the reactions were equally chaotic. Don't tell me that Shinsan's sacred gear. What kind of sacred gear is that, Drake? Issei asked, utterly baffled. But Drake had nothing to say. The great dragon spirit had buried herself in silence, wishing she could disappear from the embarrassment. Why did I have expectations? Ravel turned to Konako with wide eyes, demanding an explanation. Hero of justice? Can you tell me what exactly is going on here? But Konako refused to meet her gaze. Her face burned a bright red as she muttered under her breath, "I don't know him. I don't know him. Please, just don't ask me." Rias was losing patience, her voice rising above the chaos. Can't he take anything seriously for once? Why is it always some ridiculous stunt with him? Her irritation was palpable. Akeno chuckled softly, her ever-present smirk tugging at her lips. Ara, what an interesting man indeed," she mused, clearly entertained by Satria's antics. Zenobia sighed, her palm meeting her forehead. "We're in the middle of dealing with Kokabile, and he's doing this. Kazuma-sama, ha ha ha. What kind of costume is that? Robin, I actually feel bad for Kokabile now. Cookie's maniac, his pajamas are so cute. I want one like that too. Spider-Man, big bro Satria is taking disrespect your enemy to a whole new level. Pervert sage, don't be fooled. This is all part of his grand strategy. Satria is a genius, after all. Aesthetic, weird, yes. Entertaining? Absolutely. God of hope, childish as always. But, it's oddly effective. Kokabile, his pride utterly shredded by Satria's ridiculous antics, finally snapped. With a furious roar, he dashed toward him, his light sword glowing with a deadly radiance. Satria, however, continued to play the fool. Kai. Help me, Artoria. Kurumi-chan. Someone, save me, he wailed, dramatically shaking his head. Both Artoria and Kurumi merely folded their arms, unimpressed by his theatrics. Idiot, they thought in unison, watching him flail around pathetically. Kokabile's light sword struck true, carving a shallow wound across Satria's chest and sending him sprawling. He landed on the ground, clutching his wound with exaggerated gasps. Ugh! My wound, it's too deep. I give up. Satria cried out, crawling on his knees toward Kokabile. Please! Spare my life, Lord Kokabile. I'll become your loyal subordinate. I swear. Kokabile paused, momentarily stunned by the sheer audacity of this pathetic display. Then, his laughter echoed across the battlefield. Ha ha! Ha ha ha! This is what happens when you mock me. Beg all you want, boy. I'll grant you one last chance to speak before I send you to meet your god. Satria's face twisted into mock sorrow, and out of nowhere, sad violin music began to play. War, it's so terrible. Why must we fight, Kokabile? Can't we find another way to resolve this? Think of the innocents. His voice trembled, a single tear rolling down his cheek. The somber melody seemed to come from nowhere, yet somehow, it was perfectly timed. Everyone Rias's group, Kokabile's minions, even the chat viewers froze, utterly dumbfounded by the surreal scene. Where is that music coming from? Rias whispered, her eyes darting around. I see swings. Why are there swings appearing behind him? Akeno pointed at the phantom playground that seemed to materialize midair, swaying in rhythm with the music. But before Kokabile could strike again, Satria's real body appeared behind him, smirking wickedly. Well, Mr. Kokabile, Satria said, his tone shifting completely. Thanks for letting your guard down. With a loud clap of his hands, he launched his ultimate attack, 1000 Years of Death. Kokabile's eyes widened in shock, but it was too late. Satria's fingers jabbed his target with pinpoint accuracy. Aargh! Kokabile screamed, flying across the battlefield as he clutched his rear in agony. The battlefield fell into stunned silence. Satria casually dusted off his hands, a smug grin on his face. Never underestimate the power of unconventional tactics, ha ha ha. Everyone stared at him, their expressions ranging from disbelief to pure bewilderment. Did he just? Issei stammered, unable to form coherent words. I think he did, Rias muttered, still trying to process what had just happened. Artoria face-palmed. Why am I associated with this man? Kurumi sighed, shaking her head. This is why we can't have serious moments with him around. Meanwhile, Cockabille's anguished cries echoed through the air as he writhed on the ground. _____. Kazuma-sama, legendary. Absolutely legendary. Cookie's maniac, the technique, so profound. Spider-Man, Big Bro Satria strikes again. Face with tears of joy. Pervert sage, this is why he's my favorite. A genius beyond comprehension. Aestheth, weird, but oddly, effective. I hate how it works. _____. How are there two shins? Irina gasped, pointing at the second Satria, who still sat on the ground nursing a fake wound while the real Satria stood confidently before Cockabille. Oh, double the fun, Akeno teased, her tone laced with mischief. Konako shot her senpai a glare, her cat-like eyes narrowing sharply. Era? Why are you looking at me like that, Konako-chan? Akeno asked, a playful smirk tugging at her lips. Nothing, Konako mumbled, quickly averting her gaze. Her cheeks turned pink as she refocused on the unfolding chaos. Satria exhaled loudly, his playful demeanor vanishing as his tone grew serious. Do you all forget this is supposed to be a real fight, he said, glaring at Cockabille. There's no room for stupidity, no room for enjoyment. The smallest negligence can cost you everything. I thought every veteran of war understood that, but clearly I was mistaken. Cockabille's fists clenched as he glared back at Satria, his face contorted with rage. You! Azazel, and that vile bastard! I'll never forgive the three of you for eternity. Staggering to his feet, he winced, his hand instinctively moving to soothe his still throbbing rear. But I swear, Shin! I'll kill you here and now. Fight me seriously. Stop looking down on me. Satria tilted his head mockingly, his lips curving into a sly grin. Oh, Cockabille! He closed his eyes, his hand rising dramatically to cover them as he struck a strange pose. I never wanted to use this. My legendary, sealed weapon. The one capable of rivaling even Excalibur. But you've left me no choice. What? Cockabille's eyes widened, his body tensing. A weapon that can rival Excalibur. You're bluffing. Artoria, watching intently from the sidelines, raised an eyebrow. Rival my Excalibur? I highly doubt it, but knowing this man, I shouldn't expect anything conventional. This is ridiculous, Kaiba muttered, his grip on his sword tightening. A weapon equal to Excalibur? I've never even heard of such a thing. Could it be real? Zenobia gasped, her voice trembling with disbelief. Irina's eyes sparkled with excitement, clasping her hands together. Please let it be a holy weapon. Please, please, please. Cockabille took a cautious step back, watching Satria closely. What kind of weapon are you talking about? Show me. Satria's grin grew wider as he extended his hand into the air. Very well, peasant. Witness the power that will end this farce. In a flash of golden light, an object materialized in his hand. As the glow faded, everyone's expectations were shattered. Behold! Satria announced dramatically. The legendary ultimate weapon made from heaven. No, not another one. Valyana stared at her husband, her face betraying a mix of exasperation and second-hand embarrassment. What do you think this weapon is, Valyana? Any guesses? Azazel leaned closer, a wide grin plastered across his face as if enjoying the unfolding chaos. I don't have any idea, Valyana muttered, refusing to meet Azazel's gaze. No. This has to be one of his ridiculous jokes again. Hubby, I beg you, Don't embarrass me more than you already have. Kurumi, watching from the sidelines, rubbed her temples in disbelief. That's the pose he uses when he's about to fool around. Anyone please stop him before it's too late. She prayed silently, trying to suppress her growing dread. Kiyohime, meanwhile, let out a heavy sigh, doing a full face palm. Danasama is so immature. Does he enjoy tormenting us with his antics? Satria reached into his storage skill, his expression turning oddly serious. He withdrew a seemingly unassuming item, a traditional sarong. What in the? Murmured Rias, narrowing her eyes in confusion. Satria began folding the sarong with practiced precision. With a series of fluid movements, he tied one end into a knot, transforming the fabric into a makeshift whip. Then, he infused it with armament haki, causing it to glow ominously. Tremble in fear, crow. For my sacred weapon, the Wadamar, is ready to slap your ass into next week. Satria declared dramatically, lifting the weapon high. The crowd was silent, unsure whether to laugh, cry, or question reality itself. What is that? Kokabeel stammered, his anger briefly overtaken by sheer confusion. I almost forgot. Satria exclaimed, pulling another bizarre object from his storage. I can't fight without my second sacred weapon, the ball cracker. Together, they form my ultimate technique, Naitoryu, Heaven Smash. He began spinning the ball cracker in one hand and the sarong in the other, creating an absurdly intimidating display of slapstick weaponry. What do you guys think? Satria grinned widely, seeking feedback. Pretty badass, right? Silence. The sound of a crow cawing echoed in the background, mocking the moment. You're an idiot beyond comprehension, Fatalis grumbled from within him. I give up trying to fix you. Artoria's eye twitched as she tried to process the absurdity of it all. How did this guy ever defeat Naruto? This boy is beyond saving. There's a limit to disrespecting someone, you damned brat. Kokabeel roared, his body trembling with rage. You think this is a joke? You think I'm a joke? Oh, no, Satria replied, his grin never faltering. I don't think you're a joke. I know you are. Kokabeel let out a furious scream and charged, his light sword raised high. Satria smirked. Wadamar style, ultimate sarong slap. The battle descended into sheer chaos as Kokabeel faced the full wrath of Satria's ludicrous yet surprisingly effective techniques. Valyana coughed up and dropped to her knees, visibly shaken. Oi, you okay, Valyana? Azazel asked, concern mixed with amusement as he approached her. I'm fine, Valyana replied, wiping her mouth. I was just startled by how ridiculous that guy is. Seriously, who does that in the middle of a battle? Azazel laughed heartily. Ha ha ha. Don't tell me you're interested in him. My little Valyana's finally growing up. Honestly, I wouldn't mind having a guy like him as a son-in-law. Strong, hilarious, and completely unpredictable. Valyana's face turned red as she swung a punch at him, but Azazel easily caught her fist. Shut up. I'm not your daughter, and there's no way I'd ever fall for some clown who fights with a bad jokes. Ouch. That poor guy will cry if he hears this, Albion quipped, his voice dripping with mock pity. Azazel grinned wider. Relax, Valyana. I'm just joking. But, admitted he's entertaining, isn't he? Strong and fun. A perfect match for a serious woman like you. Meanwhile, on the battlefield. I'm not mocking you, Kyokangbeel, Satria announced with exaggerated seriousness. No, this is me fully serious. Allow me to show you how terrifying I can really be. Before Kokabeel could respond, 5 after-images of Satria appeared, each moving with uncanny speed. Kokabeel narrowed his eyes, preparing for an assault only for the clones to reappear moments later, each holding a musical instrument, a keyboard, a flute, a tambourine, and a drum set. What in the... What is this? Kokabeel bellowed, his face twisting in confusion and rage. Music to your ears, my guy. Satria smirked. Ready, boys? Let's give our friend here a show. The clones struck dramatic poses, and suddenly a chaotic melody erupted. Two clones played their instruments with reckless abandon while the others performed exaggerated dance moves. Let's go! The clones shouted in unison. Kokabeel clenched his fists in fury. You mock me, human. I am Kokabeel, the angel of stars. No one has ever dared to humiliate me like this. Summoning two massive light swords, he charged at Satria. Showtime! Satria yelled as he effortlessly dodged Kokabeel's attacks. Blocking a strike with his sarong, he twirled it like a whip, tripping Kokabeel and sending him sprawling. Kurumi returned to Kiahim's side, brushing off some dirt from her attire with a graceful motion. She glanced at Satria, still in the midst of his over-the-top antics, and let out a long sigh. Kiyohime smirked, hiding her amusement behind her elegant folding fan. So? What do you think? Do you regret tying the knot with him? Kurumi gave a small, exasperated chuckle. You know, this is my first time being in a relationship with a man. And to think my first would be this weird guy. Ha ha ha. She leaned gently against Kiahim's shoulder, her eyes softening despite her words. But even so, I don't regret it. It's actually kind of refreshing and fun being around him. Kiahim's smile widened, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Is that so? Kurumi nodded firmly. Yes, but... Her tone shifted, and a sly grin crossed her face. We really need to knock some sense into him later. Aira, I completely agree, Kiyohime replied, her fan fluttering as she hid a delighted giggle. It seems we have a shared mission. We'll do our best to fix him, shall we? Kurumi smirked, her crimson eyes glinting with determination. Absolutely. It's for his own good, after all. The two women exchanged a knowing look before breaking into soft laughter, their bond solidified by the shared challenge of dealing with their uniquely eccentric partner. Whoops! You okay down there? Satria asked mockingly before kicking Kokabeel back into the air. Kokabeel growled, lunging forward again. This time, Satria spun his sarong and covered his crotch dramatically. Beel! Do you want to see my magic stick? Satria taunted, winking at Kokabeel. Kokabeel's eye twitched in disbelief. What kind of madness is this? Satria teleported around him, appearing from every angle, chanting nonsensical rhymes. Poof! Poof! Every bitch, get the money, stay rich. He smacked Kokabeel repeatedly with his sarong, delivering a flurry of humiliating hits that left the fallen angel staggering. You dare humiliate me like this? Kokabeel roared, summoning more power. I will never forgive you for this mockery. Satria grinned mischievously, spinning his sarong in one hand like a weapon of tempest. Kokabeel lunged forward, his light swords blazing, but Satria vanished in a blur of speed. The next thing Kokabeel felt was a sharp, humiliating smack right where it hurt the most. Whack! Ball of steel! Satria announced cheerfully, landing hits from every side with his ball crackers as Kokabeel stumbled around in pain. Guess what I did to your mom? Easy game, easy life, Satria added, his mocking grin widening. Kokabeel, gasping and barely holding himself upright, roared in outrage. I'll never forgive you. What did you do to my mo? Father, Shin. His voice was filled with a mix of fury and confusion. Satria wagged his finger playfully. Oh, wouldn't you like to know? Yep, we're looking good here. He hummed a tune, refusing to elaborate, which only fueled Kokabeel's anger. Grey-ah! Go die! Kokabeel charged again, light swords blazing with renewed fury. You mad, bro? Come here and get a lick, Satria taunted as he effortlessly dodged the strike. In a flash, he activated his time skip ability and reappeared directly in front of Kokabeel, landing a devastating punch to his face. Crack! Kokabeel was sent sprawling, groaning as he struggled to stand. 1 versus 1 against me, tough guy. Satria smirked, adjusting his sarong with exaggerated flair. Yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass. Kokabeel's rage turned into desperation as he attempted to retreat. But before he could take more than a few steps, Satria and his clones materialized around him, forming a tight circle. Where you going, big guy? We're just getting started. Satria teased, cracking his knuckles. Kokabeel tried to fight back, but it was no use. Satria and his clones unleashed a synchronized assault, raining down kicks and punches with gleeful precision. Ack! Kokabeel groaned, his body racked with pain. Ah, you gonna run? Ha ha ha! Satria mocked, his grin never fading. The clones chimed in, their voices blending into a taunting chant as they continued their relentless assault. Kokabeel. Kokabeel. Loser. _____. Spider-Man, who's the villain in this case? Because honestly, I can't tell. Robin, I don't want him anywhere near my world. I can already hear Batman groaning in frustration just thinking about him. Kazuma-sama, ha ha ha. He slays his enemies with silly songs and dance numbers. Evil Spirit, you've got an amazing boyfriend. Evil Spirit, say one more word, trash, and I'll send you to meet your goddess. Kazuma-sama. Pervert sage, you know, this Kokabeel guy might actually qualify as a victim here. This is straight up bullying at this point. Asteth, what a pathetic excuse for a warrior. Just finish him already. He's wasting everyone's time. ______. This nonsense has gone on long enough. Valyana, capture Kokabeel now, Azazel commanded, clearly done with the absurdity. Valyana transformed into her balance breaker, her armor gleaming. Don't forget to pay me for this gig. Azazel pinched the bridge of his nose. Yes, yes, I'll handle your payment later. As she flew off, he muttered under his breath, why does she suddenly demand payment for everything? She used to fight just for the thrill. Now she's turning into a mercenary. Zenovia's frustration was palpable as she gripped the hilt of her sword. What a vulgar song! And to compare Excalibur to that ridiculous toy, how dare he? Irina, however, was more curious. But, if he can block Kokabeel's attacks with those toys, doesn't that mean his outfit might be made from some rare, secret material? Kaiba nodded thoughtfully. It's possible. I've never seen anything like it. This whole, rhythmic fighting style is beyond anything I've encountered. Issei quickly covered Asia's ears with his hands. Don't listen to him, Asia-chan. Akeno chuckled, her voice dripping with amusement. Ara a sadist who can clone himself and dance? My, he's quite the man of many talents. Rias, however, was seething with envy. Why him, she thought bitterly. He doesn't have any remarkable lineage or history, just a rich family and a bizarre sense of humor. How can someone like that surpass me or any of us in power? Meanwhile, Ravel Phoenix was watching intently, a calculating gleam in her eyes. This man may be absurd, but his strength is undeniable. If someone like him were to join my family's household, it would strengthen our faction significantly. But her thoughts didn't escape Konako's sharp instincts. The petite fighter narrowed her eyes at Ravel, silently bristling. What's with this fried chicken looking at my boyfriend like that? Konako huffed. Sure, he's weird, but don't think for a second I'll let you anywhere near him. Kokabeel's body lay battered and bruised, his breaths coming in ragged gasps as Satria and his clones surrounded him. Blood trickled from the corners of his mouth, and his wings twitched weakly beneath him. Satria loomed over the fallen angel, his foot pressing firmly against Kokabeel's chest, preventing any chance of escape. His voice carried a chilling calmness. "Stop resisting and just accept your fate, Kokabeel. I don't have a personal grudge against you, but your idiotic actions are seriously cutting into my relaxing time. And that's unforgivable." Kokabeel glared up at him through the pain, but his defiance faltered under Satria's crushing presence. "Stop!" A cry rang out from Kokabeel's remaining subordinates as they desperately rushed forward. "Don't kill our leader! You damned evil human!" Satria turned his head slightly, his eyes gleaming with amusement as he cracked a wicked grin. "Ha ha ha! Don't worry, I'm feeling generous today. I'll send you all to meet your maker together with your boss. That way, he won't have to be lonely in the afterlife." His clones chuckled darkly, forming a circle around the fallen angels. Kokabeel's vision blurred as he stared up at the white-haired human who had defeated him so utterly. "So this is how it ends," he thought, his defiance replaced with resignation. A faint, almost nostalgic smile crossed his lips. "I'll be home soon, with you both." Satria took a deep breath, focusing his senses. He saw the perfect opportunity to dive into Kokabeel's memories as the fallen angel staggered, weakened from their ongoing battle. They say when someone is close to death, they see their life flash before their eyes. "Let's see what you're hiding, Kokabeel." Satria's consciousness slipped into Kokabeel's mind, uncovering a torrent of memories buried deep within his soul. A man clad in black armor trudged through a dense forest, his body battered, blood trailing behind him with every step. "Ha, ha! I've lost too much blood," he gasped, stumbling before collapsing onto the forest floor. This is the end for me." As his vision dimmed, the faint silhouette of a woman approached. Her golden hair shimmered in the sunlight, and she knelt beside him, cradling his broken form. When Kokabeel awoke, he found himself lying on a simple bed, the unfamiliar ceiling above him dimly lit by flickering lanterns. "You're awake, Mr. Crow," a cheerful voice called out. A young blonde woman entered the room, a warm smile brightening her face. Who are you?" Kokabeel groaned, his voice hoarse. "And stop calling me Crow. I'm a fallen angel, not some bird. My name is Sophia, the doctor of this village. And you're lucky I found you in time," she said, placing a tray of herbs and bandages on a table. "Now, Mr. Crow, why were you so badly injured?" Kokabeel's eyes narrowed. "That's none of your business, little human. Don't bother me with your trivial questions." Sophia pouted, crossing her arms. "Humph! I saved your life, so the least you can do is answer me." "Fine, but shut up first." "Your nagging is worse than my wounds," Kokabeel grumbled, reluctantly giving in to her persistence. As the days passed, Kokabeel shared pieces of his story, and Sophia's kindness began to chip away at the walls around his heart. For 10 years, Kokabeel found happiness he never thought possible with Sophia and their daughter, Surreal. The peaceful village was ablaze, its serenity shattered by the arrival of a devil hunting party. Kokabeel rushed through the chaos, desperate to reach his home. "Sophia! Surreal!" he screamed, kicking down the door. His heart sank. The lifeless bodies of his wife and daughter lay on the floor, blood staining the walls. "Finally, you're here," sneered one of the devils, a sadistic grin on his face. "You, who ordered this?" Kokabeel roared, his voice trembling with grief and rage. "This is punishment for crossing Lord Zekram Baal," the devil replied coldly. "Had you surrendered, your family would still be alive." But no, he tossed the severed heads of Sophia and Surreal onto the floor. "To think you chose to play house with humans over participating in war with your filthy kind. What a joke!" Kokabeel froze, his vision blurring with tears. His anguish erupted into fury, and he unleashed his power, slaughtering every devil in sight. Standing amidst the carnage, he vowed, "I will destroy Zekram Baal, even if it means burning this world to ashes. We will destroy the devils, Kokabeel. Trust me. Your family will be avenged, Azazel had said, his tone filled with resolve. He placed a reassuring hand on Kokabeel's shoulder. I promise you, my friend. Relief washed over Kokabeel, his heart heavy yet comforted. Thank you, Azazel. You're the leader I can follow, the leader I trust. Years later, Kokabeel stormed into Azazel's office, his wings spread wide in anger. The devil race is vulnerable now. Their civil war has weakened them. This is our chance to strike, Azazel. Let us free humanity from supernatural influence once and for all. Azazel sighed, his gaze calm but resolute. No, Kokabeel. The war is over. Enough blood has been spilled. It's time to focus on peace. A new era between the factions is within our grasp. Peace. Kokabeel's voice cracked with fury. He seized Azazel by the collar, his crimson eyes blazing with rage. You coward! Have you forgotten your promise to me? What about the fallen comrades who died for this cause? What about my family? Azazel's patience snapped. With a swift motion, he shoved Kokabeel back, pinning him against the wall with a forceful glare. Know your place, Kokabeel. Let go of the past. Forget your family and start anew. Learn to move on. Kokabeel's breath hitched, his hands trembling. His teeth clenched as he fought back the whirlwind of emotions threatening to consume him. You've never lost anyone, Azazel. You'll never understand my pain. How dare you tell me to forget my wife and daughter? Azazel's voice turned cold, like steel slicing through air. I won't let you drag us into another war over your revenge. And don't think for a second you can take down Zekram Baal on your own. He's not just a devil, he's the true ruler of the underworld. You'd be signing your death warrant. I don't care. Kokabeel snarled, pushing himself free from Azazel's grip. If you won't help me, I'll do it alone. Even if it costs me my life. Azazel's expression darkened. His wings flared, shadowing the room in ominous light. You dare disobey me, Kokabeel? If you continue down this path, I will kill you myself. Kokabeel's fists tightened, his nails digging into his palms. He turned away, his voice low but dripping with venom. I'm disappointed in you, Azazel. Without another word, he stormed out of the room, leaving the rift between them to grow wider. Kokabeel confronted Azazel once more, the tension between them palpable. How could you assist the devils in creating the evil pieces? Do you realize what you've done? You're helping them enslave humans. What would Father think if he saw this betrayal? Azazel's eyes narrowed. Shut up, Kokabeel. This is for the greater good. The evil pieces are a cornerstone for building a non-aggression treaty with the devils. They secure peace for our race. Peace. Kokabeel's laugh was bitter, his voice laced with disbelief. You call this peace? You're forging an alliance with the monsters who killed my wife and daughter. You've lost your mind, Azazel. And you've lost your mind. Azazel roared, stepping forward. Do you want to ignite another war and risk destroying everything we've built? Humans need to be controlled, or they'll spiral into chaos. Control. Kokabeel spat, his wings bristling. You mean enslave them? You're no better than the devils you claim to oppose. Azazel's aura flared, his presence suffocating. You think I'm the villain here? You're the one consumed by vengeance. Do you even care about the lives you'll destroy with your madness? Kokabeel stepped back, his hands trembling with suppressed fury. I've had enough of this. If you stand in my way, Azazel, I'll cut you down. He drew his weapon, the blade gleaming with deadly intent. Azazel shook his head, his disappointment evident. You'll regret this, Kokabeel. The two former friends stood locked in a tense silence, their shared history overshadowed by the chasm that now separated them. The bonds of camaraderie had been shattered, and neither could turn back. Satria's catching fragmented glimpses of the fallen angel's memories. The pain, the loss, and the hatred were etched deeply into his soul. Finally, he understood the reason behind Cockabille's madness. Suddenly, Cockabille's voice broke through the haze. "What are you doing in my mind, human? Is it not enough to humiliate me in battle? Do you seek to mock me in my own memories too?" "No," Satria replied softly, his tone devoid of mockery. "I want to apologize, Cockabille. Do you remember me?" He pulled up his hoodie and adopted the same tone he had used when they first met each other. Cockabille's eyes narrowed, his breath hitching in recognition. You're the one who sold me fragments of Excalibur." "Bingo!" Satria clapped his hands, his usual playfulness returning briefly. "I never imagined you were a man with such a tragic past." He leaned forward, his expression somber. "I want to know, Cockabille, why are you waging this suicidal war?" Cockabille's gaze hardened. "I have nothing left to lose. My goal is simple, to destroy the biblical factions by making them tear each other apart. Killing the heiress would have been the perfect spark." Satria tilted his head, his voice calm yet firm. "Is that so? Are you aware your plan will lead to countless casualties? Not just among the supernatural, but humans too. Entire lives, families, and futures will be destroyed. And even after your death, there's no guarantee the biblical factions will collapse as you hope." He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. "I'm not here to judge you, Cockabille. But, have you really thought this through?" Cockabille exhaled heavily, his gaze distant. "I understand the risks, but I have no other choice, boy. My followers are few, and this quest is desperate. It's either this, or nothing at all." Satria stepped closer, his eyes searching Cockabille's. "If this plan fails, what will you do next?" Cockabille hesitated, his voice quieter now. "Just kill me. I'm done with this cruel world. Azazel will lock me away if I survive, and that's a fate worse than death. Now, my turn to ask, who are you?" Satria smirked faintly. "Who am I?" He summoned his Cosmo plug, the device glowing with ethereal energy. The warmth of his power enveloped the room as he transformed into his ultra form. Cockabille's eyes widened in disbelief, tears welling up as he took in the radiant light. The aura surrounding Satria reminded him of something or someone long lost. This light, this warmth. "Are you Father? Have you been reincarnated?" Satria shook his head gently. "No, Cockabille. I'm not your father. But this form, it's my way of honoring you and your pain. Now, tell me, what is your true wish? As an apology for misunderstanding you, I, Satria, will grant you one wish." Cockabille stared at him, his voice trembling. "My wish is..." As Sana and her peerage focused on maintaining the barrier, a powerful force suddenly shattered it into fragments. The culprit? Valyana, the strongest white dragon empress. She darted toward Cockabille, attempting to snatch him away from Satria's grasp. Satria quickly shifted his focus to Valyana, and their fists collided with a resounding shockwave that shook the battlefield. "Who is that?" Rias asked, her eyes narrowing at the new arrival who had decimated the barrier. "That's Valyana, the White Dragon Empress," Issei muttered, startling everyone except Konako. Satria smirked at Valyana amidst their clash. "Hey, beautiful. Enjoying the show?" he teased, fully expecting praise for his antics. Valyana's smirk widened as she replied slyly, "You're amazing, hubby, so amazing that I want to peg you tonight." "Peg? What does that mean?" Satria tilted his head, genuinely clueless. You'll find out tonight. I'll show you an entirely new world." She licked her lips mischievously. Somehow, that doesn't sound reassuring. A chill ran down Satria's spine. Their intense exchange of blows continued until Cockabille, taking advantage of the chaos, ascended into the sky, forming a colossal spear of light. Its sheer size and energy sent waves of fear across the battlefield. Rejoice! This city and everyone within it will be reduced to ashes. Your names will be erased from history. Kokabeel bellowed with unrestrained fury. He's serious. That thing could destroy everything. Rias exclaimed, the overwhelming light energy making her tremble. If that attack lands, it's over for all of us. Zenobia shouted in panic. Everyone turned toward Satria, silently pleading for him to act. Don't look at me, kiddo. I'm busy here. Satria grunted, still locked in combat with Valyana. Then, his gaze flicked to Artoria. Saber. It's your turn. Show them the might of Excalibur. Artoria stepped forward, her figure radiating unshakable resolve. With a firm grip on her sword, she unleashed its true form. A golden light enveloped her, dazzling everyone on the battlefield. It can't be. Zenobia whispered, her eyes wide in disbelief. Excalibur. Kaiba's voice quivered. Despite his past hatred for the holy sword, the sheer beauty and majesty of Artoria's weapon moved him to tears. He could feel the spirits of his fallen comrades comforting him, urging him to abandon his path of vengeance. The golden radiance emanating from Artoria filled the battlefield with warmth and hope. It was unlike anything the devils had ever seen, beautiful, regal, and terrifying all at once. So beautiful! Irina murmured, captivated by Artoria's divine presence. Rias. Who are they? What kind of power is this? Sana asked, her composure faltering as the overwhelming aura of Artoria's sword made her instincts scream of its danger to devils. I don't know, Rias admitted, unable to comprehend the events unfolding before her. Kokabeel, hovering above, smiled faintly as he gazed at the brilliant light. Unimaginable. So this is the true power of Excalibur. A fitting end for someone like me. Artoria's blade shone brighter, its golden light bathing the battlefield in a holy glow. She pointed her sword skyward, ready to unleash its miraculous power. Kokabeel sneered through his pain. Now I understand your anger, Saber. Let's see whose light is stronger, mine or yours. With a roar, he hurled the massive spear of light toward Artoria. Excalibur. Artoria swung her sword, releasing a devastating wave of energy. The golden light tore through Kokabeel's spear as if it were paper, continuing its path toward him. Kokabeel froze as the light enveloped him, his thoughts drifting to his past. In the final moments, he saw the faces of his wife and daughter Sophia and Cyril. This light. Is that you, Sophie? Cyril? My beautiful wife and daughter. Tears streamed down his face as regret and gratitude filled his heart. I'm sorry, and thank you, Satria. Now, I can finally rest in peace. With those words, Kokabeel's body disintegrated in the golden light, leaving behind only the echoes of his sorrow and redemption. _______. Mission complete 15,000 copyright will be shared among participants. 7,000 copyright plus 1 surprise box for King of Knights. 4,000 copyright plus 1 surprise box for Shin. 3,000 copyright plus 1 surprise box for Evil Spirit. Participants will be returned to their worlds in 5 minutes. Cookies Maniac, at King Amazing, can you teach me how to be as strong like you? God of Hope, as expected of at King. Amazing work as always. Kazuma-sama, Artoria-san is incredible. Robin, agreed. She's truly something else. Valyana stood on the battlefield, her gaze lingering on Arthuria as she processed the incredible display of strength. So, that is the power of the true Excalibur. Her strength is on another level entirely. Her eyes gleamed with excitement. I have to fight her one day. She turned her attention back to the battlefield, her resolve renewed. Let's pick this up later, she said, glancing at Satria. For now, I've got some traitors and a certain priest to deal with. Nearby, Fried let out a panicked shout before Valyana knocked him out cold with a single blow. Ignoring me, are you, White? Yo, Drake. Long time no see. It's been ages, hasn't it? Drake's voice rumbled with nostalgia. Don't worry, we're destined to clash eventually. But I don't sense the usual hostility from you this time. Likewise. It's strange, isn't it? Perhaps, we have more use for each other than just fighting. Agreed. Let's put that aside for now. Sometimes, it's not so bad to take a break. Valyana smirked as their exchange faded. She addressed Cockabille's remaining minions with an icy glare. Enough chit-chat. All traitors, follow me now unless you want to meet your end here and now. The fallen angels scrambled to obey, their spirits broken. Satria stood silently, sipping iced tea as he reflected on Cockabille's demise. You should have taken my hand and joined me, fool. But I won't hold it against you. Your wrath will be delivered to that old relic when the time comes. You can't blame him entirely, Satria. The man suffered for so long, burdened by pain and loss. It's unfortunate we didn't meet him sooner. He might have found a better path. Fatalis' voice soft but firm. That's why this world needs someone to pave the way for a new era, someone to be the light that inspires others. Satria chuckled dryly. I feel sorry for whoever has to bear that kind of responsibility. Anyway, let's get out of here before someone else shows up. They vanished into the distance. The mission to stop Cockabille was complete, leaving behind a battlefield quiet but forever changed. To be continued. Chapter 79, Chapter 64. The Three Faces of Desire. Satria Mansion. Kyoto, Japan. Give my regards to that dobe. See you next time, Artoria, Satria said, waving nonchalantly. Sure, Artoria replied with a slight nod. As her body began to glow, signaling her departure, she turned back to him. Ah, I almost forgot, Naruto wants you to visit his home later. There's someone named Itaka he wants you to cure. If you heal him, Naruto will help you free the dragon inside you and teach your, girl how to use senjutsu. Yes. Please accept her request, Satria. Fatalis chimed in, her voice brimming with excitement. I want to be free from here and play outside with you. Satria sighed. All right. But seriously, can't he heal him himself? He has Rikuta powers, for crying out loud. Artoria gave him a knowing look. Perhaps he wants to test you. You should let go of your hatred for Itaki and try to understand him. You do realize there's more to his actions than meets the eye, right? Satria frowned, folding his arms. Fine, but I still don't get it. He's got plenty of options that don't involve me. Turning to Kurumi, he asked, what about you? Are you staying here? Kurumi smiled softly. Sorry, darling, I have to return to my world for a little while. But don't worry, I'll be back soon. Leaning in, she planted a quick kiss on his lips. Be a good boy and don't cause trouble for Kia-him-san, okay? Don't treat me like a kid. Satria pouted, eliciting a giggle from Kurumi. Of course. Goodbye for now. With a playful wave, Kurumi disappeared along with Artoria. As the silence settled in the mansion, Satria sighed heavily. What am I supposed to do? I can respect someone like Cockabille, but Itaki. I can't just brush aside what he's done. Fatalis's voice echoed in his mind, soothing yet teasing. That's why communication is key, puppy. Things can be resolved if both sides are willing to understand each other. Sure, Itaka made harsh decisions, but have you considered the reasons behind them? There are always people in power who fear change. Imagine if someone like Itaki or Shisui had become Hokage, they would have been far better leaders than most of Konoha's choices. But instead, they chose the foolish path. I get it, Satria muttered, rubbing the back of his neck. I'm patriotic, sure, but not to the point where I'd sacrifice my family, the ones who actually care about me. No wonder our neighbors call Indonesia as Konohagakur. We practically run on the same dynasty politics. He sighed, shaking his head in frustration. Fatalis chuckled warmly, her voice laced with amusement. Ha 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 ha. I can't argue with that. The comparison is painfully accurate and you should give Itaki a chance to redeem himself, puppy, she teased, her tone light but with a hint of seriousness. You're the hero of kindness, after all. Isn't it your duty to bring peace to the world? You're not wrong, Satria admitted, scratching his head. But first, I need to knock some sense into that idiot. After all, it's my job to maintain peace in the world so I can relax. I mean, protect. He suddenly froze, a chill running down his spine. The air in the room shifted ominously. Before he could finish his thought, an all-too-familiar voice echoed behind him. Danasama, did you have fun today? Turning slowly, Satria found Kiyohime looming over him, her lower half transformed into a massive snake tail. Without warning, the tail coiled around him tightly, binding him in place. Good luck, Fatalis quipped, her voice laced with amusement as she retreated into the recesses of his mind. Hey! Don't just abandon me like this! Satria internally screamed. Excuse me, ma'am, but what exactly did I do wrong? He asked with a nervous grin, trying to feign innocence. Kiyohime's eyes narrowed dangerously. Do you have any idea how embarrassing it is when my beloved husband puts on a ridiculous show in front of others? Her voice was calm, but her grip tightened with every word. Ah! Too tight. I think something broke. Satria yelped, a sharp crack echoing through the room as her tail crushed him further. You should think about how your actions affect us before doing such foolish things, Kiyohime scolded, her tone more like a reprimanding mother than a loving wife. I already reflected on my actions. Please let me go, my love, my dear, honey. Satria pleaded desperately, still unsure what he was being punished for but willing to say anything to placate her. His pleading only seemed to amuse Kiyohime further. Her expression softened, but her eyes gleamed with something far more dangerous. Your pitiful face only makes me want to punish you more, Danasama. Before he could protest, Kiyohime dragged him to her room, tossing him onto the tatami with surprising ease. Kiyohime. Let's talk about this rationally. Satria stammered, panic creeping into his voice as he realized where this was headed. Ignoring his protests, Kiyohime shrugged off her kimono, revealing her flawless skin and a figure that left no room for argument. The air grew thick with a musky, intoxicating scent. Satria gulped audibly, knowing he was in for a long and grueling night. Wait. Somehow, I have a bad feeling about this. Kiyohime smiled sweetly, though the mischievous glint in her eyes promised anything but mercy. Oh, don't worry, Danasama. I'll make sure you understand perfectly, through experience. Now, what should I do to bad boys like you? Kiyohime thought of a way to punish him. She stood in front of him and unzipped his pants, then stroked his dick. Her hand massaged it up and down slowly until precum could be seen from Satria thing. Can you do this with your mouth? I want to come in that way. Satria loves how Kiyohime uses her mouth. The sensation of her snake tongue is different than a normal human. What a demanding boy, but mommy will take care of your needs, my dear. Kiyohime wrapped her snake tongue in Satria dick and engulfed it inside her mouth. Yes. That's how you do it, girl. Satria feels throbbing meat ready to erupt. It's impossible to hold back doing it from Kiyohime extraordinary blowjob. I almost swallow it all, Kiyohime. He grips her head and unleashes all of it in her mouth. "Ah, you come so much, Dana-sama." Kiyohime sucked everything and saw his dick still upright, making her horny. She wants his big dick ramming her inside. "Oh my, this little one is still lively." She caresses his dick gently and lay down in front of him. "Come here. It's your turn to satisfy me." She spread her vagina as a sign of allowing him to do it on her. She needs something big and hard to fill her. Satria gulped. It was the first time he had done this with Kiyohime in her snake form. Honestly, she was a stunning, now giving exotic beauty vibe. He moves forward and thrusts his dick into Kiyohime's pussy. "Ah, Dana-sama, dick is finally inside me." Kiyohime moans as Satria puts his dick on her pussy. She lays on the bed, her tail once again wrapped around Satria's body, not letting him go from her clutch, her fair breast wobbling up and down as Satria plunges on her. "Do you love my dick, Hime?" "Yes. Please. Harder. Faster. Deeper. I love you, Dana-sama." Kiyohime cannot think of anything except his dick. Every time he thrusts in, her entire body shakes in pleasure. "If this is enough to make you like this, how about this, my love?" Satria vibrated his dick, making her moan more loudly. "No. It's too much, my inside is getting broken. If you continue to do this to me." Kiyohime can feel his big dick vibrate on her body. She can't hold this any longer. A large amount of juice begins flowing from her pussy. "I'm gonna release it inside, yes?" Satria asks her permission. "Yes. Do it inside, pour all your baby seed into me and let me bear your children inside my womb." Kiyohime can feel his dick become bigger inside her and hit the good spot in every part of her body. She loves this and wants this to continue forever. "Take it, Kiyohime, and be pregnant." Satria groans and finally climaxes inside her. Something thick floods Kiyohime's wet pussy and she has a satisfied face. With this amount, she may be pregnant, but who cares? She is the one who asked me to do it, and this one can provide her needs. "Kiyohime-san, not fair, I want to join you both too." Both couples see the direction of the voice. They see Valyuna wearing bizarre clothes. Now consisting of black, strap-like objects, resembling leather, around and under her breasts, a thong-like piece held around her hips by 3 thin straps, gloves that ran right up her arms with small lengths of chains hanging from them, and wild playthings on her hand. "Whoa! Whoa! What is that? Do you want to practice S&M or something like that?" When Satria sees her clothes, it reminds him of fallen angels' woman clothes. "As I told you before, I want to show you the new world, and Kiyohime-san, please hold him like you did before to him." Valyuna has a sadistic smile on her face. Why not?" Kiyohime understands what she means and holds her Dana-sama tightly between her tail. "Hey! What do you girl want to do to me?" Satria feels alarmed when sees their sadistic face. They're gonna do something really bad to him for sure. "Relax. I will be a gentle hubby, just trust me, okay?" Valyuna poured a strange liquid on him and put a dildo on her crotch. "Oh! It's so hot. I cannot skip this part of my puppy's happiest moment." Fatalis watch with full interest. "Happiest moment, your ass. Help me." Satria begs for help, but nobody can save him from this situation. "No. I don't want this. Kiyohime, please do something to her." Satria cries out to her. He doesn't want that to enter him. "Shhh, just look at me and everything will be fine, Dana-sama. Here are your favorite boobs, just suck on them if it hurts." Kiyohime soothes him and let him suck on her nipple to comfort him. "He ready, Valyuna-san, feel free to do it," Kiyohime said to her sister's wives. "Embrace it, hubby. This is a fitting punishment for a bad puppy like you." Valyuna thrust it inside him with enthusiasm. "Nuuu." Satria woke up between his 2 naked wives, staring blankly at the ceiling. He was done. Completely done. And now, he wanted to cry. "My dignity as a man, utterly destroyed. How did it come to this?" He turned his gaze toward Valyana, who was peacefully snuggled up against his chest. Memories of the previous night flooded back, and a vein throbbed on his temple. Damn you, Valyana! I'll get my revenge for humiliating me like that. Just wait. As if reading his thoughts, Valyana stirred and opened her eyes. Morning, hubby, why does your face look so grumpy? Come here, my baby. Before he could protest, she pulled his head into her soft, pillowy chest. His grudge momentarily faltered. Don't be mad, okay, she said softly, stroking his hair. I'm sorry for what I did, but it's your fault for being such a bad boy. You know how much we love you. She placed a gentle kiss on his forehead, her voice dripping with affection. Humph! Stupid, Satria muttered, cheeks puffed out in frustration. Despite his best efforts, he couldn't stay angry. Phew-phew, Kiyohime giggled from behind, wrapping her arms around him. Valyana's right. Reflect on your actions and be the man we can be proud of, Dana-sama. If you do that, we'll shower you with love and rewards instead of punishments. Satria sighed in defeat. Fine, fine. For breakfast, I want gyudon. After that, we're planning a trip to another world. Both women blinked in surprise before lighting up with excitement. We're seriously going to another world. Valyana sat up, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. Where are we headed? Are there strong people there? You have no idea, Satria replied with a sly grin. This world is similar to ours but far more advanced, and it's teeming with powerful beings. How strong are we talking? Stronger than Great Red. Albion's voice chimed in, intrigued by the prospect. Satria smirked. Great Red? That guy is nothing compared to some of the creatures there. Both Valyana and Albion froze, their minds reeling. Something stronger than Great Red. Albion muttered in disbelief. Valyana's excitement skyrocketed. This is amazing. Imagine the battles I can have in that world. Satria pinched the bridge of his nose. He knew exactly where this was going. From his assessment, Valyana could handle about 50% of Marvel's stronger individuals, but he didn't want her to focus solely on Marvel. His real target was DC, a world with challenges that could awaken her full potential. He also had his sights set on a certain individual there who might help Valyana unlock her latent power as a descendant of Lucifer. Enough daydreaming, Kiyohime interrupted, stretching languidly. Let's take a bath first, and then we'll discuss the trip. And don't forget to clean this room, it's a mess from last night's activities. Yeah, it reeks of sweat, sex, and sulfur, Valyana teased, wrinkling her nose. Hubby, take care of it, will you? Satria stared at her, aghast. Didn't you just promise to handle my cleaning duties today? Is my princess's word so easily broken? Unbelievable. Valyana pouted, snuggling up to him. Please, hubby, if you do it, I'll cosplay as a cat girl for you later. What do you say? Satria's resolve wavered. If your friends ever see you like this, they'll lose all respect for you as their leader. I'm sure of it. Valyana smirked, unbothered. They'll never find out. And if they do, I'll just erase their memories. If that doesn't work. She smiled darkly, her aura shifting. Satria shuddered but couldn't suppress a small laugh. He couldn't stay mad, not when his life was this ridiculous and oddly fulfilling. Fine, fine. But that cat girl cosplay better be worth it, he grumbled, rolling up his sleeves. Kiyohime and Valyana exchanged victorious smiles. Their beloved Danasama was always so easy to convince. After cleaning themselves in the bath and enjoying an unplanned bonus round, Satria and his wives stepped into the living room, only to freeze. A small figure sat calmly on the sofa, her piercing gaze locked onto them. Who are you, little girl? Kiyohime asked sharply, her tail coiling defensively. How did you bypass the magic barrier I placed on this house? It should prevent anyone below the Demon Lord level from even locating us, let alone entering. The intruder didn't answer immediately, instead adjusting the grip on the sword resting at her side. Fran! Satria exclaimed, breaking the tense silence. What are you doing here in my world? Kiyohime and Valyuna turned to him in unison. You know her, hubby? Valyuna asked, her curiosity piqued. Yes, Satria replied, his tone wary. She's someone I've told you about before. She's part of the Dimensional Chat members. Before he could explain further, the petite black cat girl stood, her expression cold and unwavering. She pointed her sword at Kiyohime and Valyuna. So, thou art the thieving cats who dare to try stealing my alpha, Fran declared, her voice laced with anger. I am Fran, the blade of Satria. I shall not allow you to take what belongs to me. Yours. Kiyohime's eye twitched as she summoned her Naginata, her tone venomous. He is mine to begin with, feral cat. Explain yourself, Satria. What kind of relationship do you have with this child? I don't know what she's talking about, Satria stammered, holding his hands up in defense. I announced my relationship to the Dimensional Chat members, and Fran got upset, but I thought it was just a shock. What's going on here, Baban? Let's talk this out like civilized people. Baban, Fran's sentient sword, chimed in, his voice carrying equal parts irritation and worry. I don't know, but she's been acting strange ever since we left the dungeon. It's your fault she's like this, Satria. Hey! How is this my fault? Satria's voice rose in frustration. Idiot! Fatalis's voice echoed teasingly in his mind. Have you truly not noticed? This girl has strong feelings for you, romantic ones. And now you've gone and paraded your relationships with other women in front of her face. She's not the sharing type, my dear puppy. Good luck handling this one. Satria rubbed his temples, feeling a migraine creeping in. I've always thought of Fran as family, but like a little sister, not a life companion. Why is this happening? Valyuna cracked her knuckles, her battle aura sparking to life. Hubby, step aside. If she wants to fight, I'll gladly oblige. Let our fists do the talking. No, Kiyohime interrupted, narrowing her eyes at Fran. Her naginata glinted ominously as she leveled it at the petite warrior. I will be the one to teach her a lesson. She dared to call me a thief? I'll show her exactly why she can't steal my husband. Fran raised her sword, her gaze never wavering. Come at me, then. I'll cut down anyone who stands in my way. The atmosphere in Satria's mansion grew suffocating as the three women glared at each other, ready to clash. Sparks of power and tension danced in the air, threatening to escalate into a full-blown battle. Enough! Satria's voice thundered through the room, his tone laced with frustration. He had had enough of their squabble. A surge of his willpower exploded outward, shaking the entire house. The sheer force of his aura froze the women in their tracks, overwhelming them with its intensity. The shockwave extended beyond the house, rattling the neighborhood. Furniture cracked, fragile decorations shattered, and even unsuspecting bystanders outside fell unconscious. As expected, Fatalis purred in his mind. He possesses the quality of a supreme ruler. Realizing the mess he had caused, Satria sighed. Oh crap, I shouldn't have done that. Excuse me, ladies, I'll be back. In the blink of an eye, he vanished to clean up the mess outside, straightening toppled structures and ensuring everyone was safe. Moments later, he returned, brushing off imaginary dust from his hands. Sorry for the wait. Now, where were we? The room was silent. Valyuna, still reeling from the overwhelming pressure she'd felt moments ago, stared at him in disbelief. For a fleeting moment, her adorable, mischievous husband had transformed into a being that commanded absolute submission. What the hell was that, she thought, her pride as a warrior trembling. He turned into someone something that made me want to kneel. Kiyohime, too, was shaken. Her beloved Danasama, usually so playful and silly, had reminded her of his terrifying strength. She clutched her naginata tightly, her hands trembling. Baban, who had watched the display from Fran's side, felt a chill run through him. I almost forgot, the sentient blade muttered. This is the man who defeated the beast that nearly destroyed our world. He's not just strong, he's a monster in sheep's clothing. Dangerous and unpredictable. Fran, meanwhile, struggled to keep her balance, her breath coming in short, sharp gasps. She had resolved to fight for her claim on Satria, but his display of dominance had shaken her to her core. Still, she refused to give in. Satria, noticing her state, extended his right hand and summoned a golden beam. Full moon react, he muttered softly, firing it toward Fran. The energy enveloped her, soothing the chaotic storm in her mind. Slowly, Fran's breathing steadied, and her tense body relaxed. How do you feel now, Fran? Satria asked gently, his tone calm and reassuring. Fran hesitated for a moment before rushing to embrace him. I feel better now. Thank you, Satria. He patted her head affectionately. You can count on me anytime. Now, tell me, what reward did you get from the mission? Fran stepped back, her expression thoughtful. I received the memory of a woman named Malania, she replied. Satria blinked, startled by the revelation. Malania, he echoed, a mix of surprise and understanding in his voice. Memories of Elden Ring flashed in his mind, the cursed boss who had driven him mad during countless attempts to defeat her. Malania, the goddess of rot, whose second phase was a nightmare incarnate. That explains a lot, he murmured. For someone as young as Fran, inheriting the memory of such a figure would be a monumental burden. You're incredible, Fran. It's no small feat to endure the memories of the goddess of rot. Baban, now on high alert, cut in. Goddess of what? What power are you talking about? Explain this immediately. Fran shook her head firmly. I didn't inherit her power. Only her memories. Satria studied her closely, his sharp eyes catching the flicker of something unsaid. Fran was hiding something, but he chose not to press the issue for now. All right, he said, letting out a sigh. Let's settle this mess once and for all. And after that, we'll talk about our trip to another world. The tension in the room finally began to ease, though the unease lingered in the back of everyone's minds. To be continued. Chapter 80, Chapter 65. Misunderstanding. The living room was lively as Satria, Kiyohime, Valiana, and Fran sat together after enjoying breakfast. The aroma of the freshly cooked meal still lingered in the air, a testament to Kiyohime's culinary skills. Kiyohime's cooking is amazing, isn't it, Fran? Satria asked, gently patting the head of the little black cat girl sitting in his lap. Fran blushed slightly, her ears twitching. She couldn't deny it, Kiyohime's food was beyond delicious. It even rivaled, if not surpassed, her Shishao's cooking. Reluctantly, she nodded, earning a satisfied grin from Satria. Hey! Baban's voice came from the corner, full of indignation. Are you seriously practicing polygamy in Japan? How is that even allowed here, you jerk? Damn you, I'm so jealous. I mean, you are forbidden from getting close to Fran. The living sword attempted to leap from its resting place and separate Fran from Satria's lap. Unfortunately for Baban, Satria casually tossed the sword into a nearby trash bin. Such a noisy sword! Don't you agree, Fran? He asked, only to feel a sharp pinch on his cheek. It hurts, Fran. For someone so small, you're really strong, Satria whined playfully, rubbing his face. Don't call me small, Fran said firmly, her cheeks puffed slightly in irritation. And be nice to Shishao. She sighed, wondering if there was ever going to be peace between her mentor and this ridiculous man. Kiyohime, however, was not pleased. Her eye twitched as she observed the little kitten comfortably seated on her beloved Danasama's lap. That was supposed to be her rightful place. Aira, you truly seem to adore her, Danasama, Kiyohime said with a sweet but sharp tone. But tell me, little kitten, who gave you permission to sit on my husband's lap? Fran looked unfazed, her fiery blue eyes meeting Kiyohime's with unwavering confidence. Does Satria look bothered by my presence? I'm sitting here with his approval, she replied coolly, crossing her arms. Are you perhaps jealous of me, old lady? The room fell silent for a moment. Satria blinked, trying to process what Fran had just said. Wow! Fran's words are sharper than before. Is this the effect of her fused memories with Malenia, he thought, unsure whether to admire her bravery or worry about the fallout. Kiyohime's calm demeanor cracked slightly as her smile turned unervingly sweet. Old lady, she echoed, her voice laced with ominous intent. Phew! What a rude little kitten you are! I don't think you'd enjoy seeing me angry, you cocky brat. Fran smirked, unbothered by the threat. Try me, hag. I'm not afraid of you. Ha 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 ha. Valyuna burst out laughing. This kitten has fire. Young, brave, sharp, and full of potential, she said, clearly impressed by Fran's audacity. I like her spirit. She'll definitely become a strong woman in the future. Watching this is better than any fight I've seen recently. Meanwhile, Satria sighed deeply, rubbing his temples as the tension between the two women grew. Why do they always have to fight? Will this happen every time? Also, how are my other girls doing? I hope they'll agree to join me on this trip to another world. That's all I need, a peaceful holiday. He glanced at Valyuna, who was enjoying the chaos, and then at Kiyohime and Fran, who were still locked in an intense staring contest. Satria's eyes lit up as he suddenly remembered something. Fran, where's the costume I purchased from your world? He asked, barely containing his excitement. Fran tilted her head, then reached into her dimensional storage. With a flick of her wrist, she pulled out a stunning Grand Magus outfit inspired by Rubik, the iconic hero from Dota 2. The robe shimmered with intricate emerald patterns, and the accompanying staff glowed faintly, its tip adorned with a mystical card slot designed to store stolen spells. What do you think? Amazing, right? Satria spun around, showing off his attire. The staff twirled in his hand as if it were an extension of himself. And check this out. He pointed to the card embedded in the staff. I specifically requested this slot so I can store any spell I steal from my enemies. How cool is that? Valyuna raised an eyebrow, a smirk tugging at her lips. A mage outfit for a man who barely looks like one? Bold choice. But I'll admit, it suits you, she teased, leaning back in her chair. Kiyohime's gaze softened slightly, though she tried to maintain her usual poise. You look dashing, Danasama. Fran, meanwhile, crossed her arms and gave a small nod of approval. It looks good on you, Satria. But, you'll need to prove you can actually use it properly, she said, her tone a mix of challenge and encouragement. Properly. Satria struck a dramatic pose, pointing his staff toward the ceiling. With this outfit, I've ascended beyond mere mortal limitations. I am the Supreme Grand Magus, master of all spells. He twirled the staff again, trying to summon a harmless spell for effect. Instead, a tiny burst of golden sparks shot out, singeing a corner of the carpet. Satria! Kiyohime snapped, her voice sharp as she rushed to check the damage. Do not destroy my house with your antics. Ha ha ha, idiot! Valyuna burst into laughter, clapping her hands. You're a natural, all right, a natural disaster. Fran sighed, shaking her head, but there was a small smile on her lips. Shishao was right. You really are reckless. Satria sheepishly rubbed the back of his head. Okay, maybe I need a bit more practice. But the outfit? Totally worth it. Suddenly, he smacked his forehead. Oh no, I totally forgot. I still haven't paid for this. Fran, how much do I owe you for the costume? Fran shook her head, her expression calm but sincere. I don't need your money, Satria. Just tell me what you want, and I'll do my best to fulfill it. Kiyohime, who had been sipping her tea, narrowed her eyes at him. A playful but sharp smile formed on her lips. Aira, since when did I raise you to be such a hopeless man, Danasama? Relying on a young girl to cover your debts? Truly scandalous. Valyuna burst into laughter, slapping her knee. Hopeless? That's being too kind. You're lucky this kitten is so generous. Satria held up his hands defensively, looking between the two women. Wait, hold on. It's not like that. I swear I was going to pay her. I just forgot in the heat of the moment. Fran, who was still seated on his lap, tilted her head in mild confusion. Why do you even care about paying me, Satria? I wouldn't take it anyway. Valyuna leaned in with a smirk. Oh, so this kitten is okay with giving him freebies? How generous of you, Fran. Are you trying to bribe your way into his heart? Fran's cheeks turned a faint shade of pink, but she stayed composed. I don't need to bribe him. I already have my place in his life. Valyuna raised an eyebrow, impressed by Fran's confidence. Oh? Bold words for a bold girl. I like it. Satria groaned, leaning back against the couch. Can we stop turning everything into a debate about my relationships? I'll make it up to you, Fran. Just name your price when you think of something, all right? Fran nodded, her small smile returning. Fine. But I'll hold you to that, Satria. Kiyohime sighed and crossed her arms, though there was a hint of amusement in her eyes. Honestly, Danasama, you attract trouble like a magnet. It's a miracle this house is still standing. Valyuna chuckled, tossing a pillow at him. Forget the house, I'm amazed he's still standing. Satria caught the pillow, smirking despite himself. Laugh it up while you can. When the time comes, I'll show all of you who's really the boss around here. Kiyohime and Valyuna exchanged glances before laughing even harder, while Fran simply rested her head against Satria's chest, enjoying the lively atmosphere. Kurumi POV. Baka Satria. How did I end up with someone like him? Kurumi lay sprawled across her bed, her delicate fingers tracing invisible patterns on the sheets. Her mind buzzed with conflicting emotions. There was no doubt Satria was a bizarre man. Narcissistic, greedy, childish, lazy, spoiled, and a shameless playboy. Yet, with all those flaws, she couldn't bring herself to hate him. Living with him for a while had been exhilarating. A blush crept across her cheeks as she recalled his infectious laughter, the warmth of his touch, and the way he looked at her as if she were the only person in his world. That idiot! She muttered, rolling onto her stomach to hide her reddened face in her pillow. But no matter how much she tried to bury the thoughts, her mind replayed their moments together, his teasing smile, the way he pampered her, his promises of safety, and the way he made her feel alive. Without realizing it, Kurumi began giggling, her expression transforming into a rare, love-struck grin. She kicked her legs in the air like a teenager with a crush, her usual sadistic demeanor softened by the memories. Her whimsical daydreams were interrupted by the arrival of a clone, stepping out from the shadows. "Where have you been this past week, Original?" the clone asked, folding her arms as she observed the unusual behavior of her counterpart. Kurumi quickly sat up, schooling her expression into her usual composed self. "None of your business. Give me a report on what you've accomplished instead of asking useless questions." The clone raised an eyebrow, curious but obedient. "As you wish. Shidou-san has been searching for you after that incident, and as expected, Dem continues to hunt us. What are your orders?" Kurumi leaned back against the headboard, a thoughtful glint in her crimson eyes. Her clone's report was standard, yet Kurumi found herself less interested in Shidou than she once had been. A pang of guilt tugged at her, but it quickly dissipated when her thoughts turned back to him. Do as usual. I have no new plans for now. Leave me. Her voice was curt, and the clone nodded before disappearing into the shadows. Alone again, Kurumi let out a sigh. Her life had taken a dramatic turn in the past week. Discovering her friend was still alive and having her powers stabilized by Satria had shifted her priorities. She no longer needed to consume lives to use her abilities, though Satria had given her permission to feed on the souls of evil people if necessary. Her lips curled into a sly smile as she considered her newfound potential. If I could absorb not only their souls but also their abilities. She mused, her mind drifting to the idea of becoming invincible. But she shook her head, chastising herself. No. That's not who I am anymore. Satria wouldn't approve, unless... Kurumi's cheeks darkened again as she imagined his approving smirk. She sighed deeply. For Shidou-san. I'm sorry, but Satria is far more intriguing. He's not naive or hesitant. He knows how the world works. Romantic, strong, cunning, dependable, and deliciously unpredictable. He's perfect. If only I could ignore his eccentricities. Kurumi felt heat rise to her face again as her thoughts turned darker and more possessive. Ah, Satria! I want more of you. I want your love, your strength, your everything. I want to become one with you. She licked her lips, her sadistic grin returning as she imagined their next encounter. Her thoughts were interrupted by the familiar chime of the dimensional chat. A private message from Satria popped up. Holiday to another world, she read aloud, her smile widening. How intriguing! What should I bring to surprise him? Her heart raced at the thought of spending more time with him. Kurumi leapt off the bed with newfound energy, her sadistic grin softening into a more genuine smile. She began preparing her belongings, carefully considering what would make the trip unforgettable for both of them. Satria, my darling. She murmured. You'd better be ready for me. Issei's house. Kyoto, Japan. Inside Issei's house, the atmosphere was unusually serious. The demon lord Surtsk's Lucifer, accompanied by his queen, Graphia Lucifuge, was deep in discussion about a man who had piqued their interest, Shin, an enigmatic individual capable of battling the Angel of Star alone. An intriguing man indeed, Surtsk mused, leaning back in his chair. I'd like to meet him personally and thank him for saving my little sister. What else do we know about him? Graphia stood with her usual grace, delivering her report in a calm, professional tone. Based on Riyas-sama's accounts, Shin appears to be nothing more than an ordinary human. He was born into a wealthy family as the illegitimate child of the CEO of Lux Group, based here in Japan. His parents left him alone in the country, providing only enough financial support for him to live a basic life. During middle school, there's evidence that he experienced severe bullying, which led him to isolate himself due to trauma. No familial support seems to have been provided during that time. The room fell silent. Everyone processed the revelation, struggling to reconcile Shin's past with the powerful and confident figure they had encountered. Wait. Shin-san? Bullied. Issei's voice broke the silence. His disbelief was palpable. That doesn't make sense at all. There's no way someone like him could have been a victim of bullying. Drake chimed in, equally unconvinced. I agree. For someone with his strength and presence, the idea of him being bullied is absurd. I'd sooner believe a flying, fire-breathing cow exists than that story. Graphia, unbothered by their skepticism, continued. It is, however, the truth. My agents found no evidence of magical interference or misinformation. Every source corroborates the story. His former classmates and acquaintances from that time confirm Shin was indeed a victim of bullying in his youth. It appears he distanced himself from others as a result of the trauma. The disbelief in the room only grew. Surtsk sighed, massaging his temple. This boy grows more mysterious by the moment. First, a young man strong enough to combat the Angel of Star alone. Now, a tragic backstory of bullying and isolation. It's a paradox. The Demon Lord leaned forward, his expression thoughtful. And then there's the woman wielding Excalibur. Too many questions with too few answers. We'll have to revisit this later. For now, it's late, and these youths need their rest. With a wave of his hand, Surtsk dismissed Rias's peerage. As the room emptied, Surtsk turned to Grafia. What's your take on him? Do you think we could convince him to join our side? I'd prefer to count him as an ally rather than a potential enemy. Grafia hesitated before responding. It's difficult to say, Surtsk-sama. According to Rias-sama, she has already attempted to recruit him into her peerage but was met with refusal. Surtsk chuckled, the sound both amused and intrigued. Ha ha ha! Another surprise in this so-called peaceful era. How fascinating! Grafia remained silent, her mind racing with possibilities. And what about Qah Academy? Rias and other comeback then asked, her concern evident. With everything that's happened recently, the students might not feel safe. Surtsk nodded thoughtfully, already considering the implications. You're right. The recent events, especially the appearance of the Angel of Star, have likely left many on edge. Grafia stepped forward, offering a solution. We could temporarily close the school to allow for proper security measures to be implemented and give other time to recover from any lingering fear. Surtsk agreed, turning his attention to the group. Qah Academy will be closed for 1 month. This will allow us to assess the situation and ensure the school environment is safe and secure. In the meantime, we'll work to neutralize any threats and keep the town under surveillance. Issei raised a hand. Wait. Does that mean no classes for a whole month? Surtsk chuckled at Issei's reaction. That's correct, though I trust you'll use that time wisely. Perhaps to train or strengthen yourselves. Issei groaned, but Drake's voice rumbled with approval. Finally, an opportunity to improve. No excuses, partner. Rias smiled slightly, appreciating her brother's decision. Thank you, Surtsk-senai-sama. This should help ease tensions among the students and the town. Konako, standing quietly nearby, nodded in agreement. A month of quiet might be nice. Grafia gave her husband a satisfied look. A wise decision, Surtsk-sama. It's best to prioritize safety during uncertain times. With the matter settled, Surtsk stood. Then it's decided. Let's use this time to prepare for whatever comes next. Grafia, ensure the necessary notices are sent to the school and the local authorities. Of course, Surtsk-sama. As they began to disperse, Rias's peerage exchanged glances. A whole month without school might be a blessing in disguise, but they all knew it would likely mean more intense training and preparation for the battles ahead. Konako sat cross-legged in her room, typing quickly on her phone. Despite her usual calm demeanor, she couldn't help but feel uneasy about the recent events and the attention Satria was drawing. __. Konako, texting Satria. Senpai, my faction has started gathering every piece of information about you. Also, the school's been closed for a month. What are you going to do now? Satria. For now, I'll just go with the flow. Konako. Why not hide your identity? Things are getting too complicated. Satria. This one hates hiding his awesomeness. I let my actions guide others under my brilliant path. After all, I'm Satria, amazing as always. Konako. Your overconfidence is going to bite you someday, senpai. By the way, how did you ever get bullied in middle school? Satria. This one never lets such a thing happen. I'll tell you the full story later when we meet, my little kitten. Speaking of which, how about joining me and my family for a vacation? Konako. I'd love to, but I can't go far from my king. There's always the risk of being branded as a stray devil. Satria. You know what? That peerage system really ticks me off. I've got a plan to handle this situation, but only if you're okay with it. Konako. What's your plan? Satria. OTW. _____. Moments later, a black blur sped through Kuah town at an unnatural speed, stopping at Issei's house. Satria, now clad in sleek black dragon armor, knocked on the door confidently. Pizza delivery. Akeno answered the door, only to freeze in shock at the sight of the imposing figure before her. Who are you? Before she could react, Satria gently tapped her neck, rendering her unconscious. As Akeno slumped into his arms, he carefully set her down to avoid hurting her. The commotion drew everyone else in the house to the scene. Akeno-san! Issei exclaimed, glaring at the armored figure. How dare you hurt her? Who are you, and what do you want here? Surtsk's demanded, his crimson aura flaring as he prepared for a fight. Satria, now adopting the persona of Black Flash, stood tall, his deep voice reverberating through the room. I am the Black Flash, champion of Amaterasu herself. I've come to demand compensation for the havoc your kind has caused in Shinto territory. Amaterasu's champion. Graphia narrowed her eyes. I've never heard of anyone like you associated with the Shinto pantheon. Outrageous! Satria barked, feigning indignation. Amaterasu-sama has personally entrusted me with protecting her land. You devils are lucky she tolerates your presence in this territory. But now, you've crossed the line. Surtsk frowned. And what exactly do you want as compensation? Satria folded his arms. $2 billion. Pay up, or leave this land forever. Ridiculous. Surtsk's voice boomed. There's no way we're paying that much without proof of your claims. Leave now or... Is that a threat? Satria's voice boomed, his tone mocking as he pointed at Surtsk's. Let me make one thing clear to you, puny devils. The Shinto pantheon has me, the Black Flash, as their champion and protector. If you don't heed my demands... In a blur of motion, Satria disappeared and reappeared in an instant, holding Konako in his arms. She blinked in shock, unable to process how he moved so fast. I'll take her as collateral, he declared, smirking beneath his helmet. Pay up, or, well, you know what I'll do with her, hee. He ran his fingers lightly along Konako's cheek, earning a startled gasp from the petite rook. Her pale complexion turned a faint shade of pink. Ah, stop that, Konako mumbled, half embarrassed and half annoyed, squirming in his grip. The room erupted into chaos. Konako-chan! Issei roared, his boosted gear materializing on his arm as he glared daggers at the armored figure. Let her go, you pervert! You dare touch my precious rook! Rias shouted, stepping forward with her demonic energy flaring. What kind of sick joke is this? Ravel added, furious that Konako was being subjected to such treatment. Surtsk narrowed his eyes, his calm demeanor cracking slightly. Despite his incredible power, he was wary of this mysterious figure's speed and unpredictable nature. He's fast, Surtsk thought grimly. I couldn't follow his movements. If the Shinto pantheon truly has someone like this, it could complicate matters for us. Graphia, ever composed, analyzed the situation. There's no proof you represent Amaterasu-sama. This could easily be a ploy to extort us. Satria turned his attention to her, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Proof? My word is proof enough. But fine, if you're that skeptical, why don't you head to Kyoto and ask her yourself? Assuming you dare set foot in our territory. Surtsk sighed, realizing that the situation could escalate dangerously if not handled delicately. Can't it be less? That's not a small amount, you know. $2 billion, Satria said bluntly. That should cover the damages your kind has caused in Shinto lands. And remember, I'm being generous here. The devils balked at the outrageous demand. You're insane! Rias exclaimed. There's no way we're paying that. Then say goodbye to this adorable little kitten, Satria taunted, giving Konako a mischievous pat on the head. Big brother! Rias turned to Surtsks, panic in her voice. What should we do? Surtsks gritted his teeth, clearly unhappy about the situation but unwilling to risk Konako's safety. Fine, he said reluctantly. But I'll need time to gather that amount of money. Satria's smirk widened. Good. You have 1 month. Fail to deliver, and you can consider this girl permanently mine. Oh, and one more thing. He turned to Konako, who glared at him despite her blush. Don't worry, kitten. You'll be in good hands. With that, he vanished in a flash of light, taking Konako with him. The room fell silent for a moment before Issei's anguished cry broke the tension. No. Konako-chan. This is unacceptable, Rias muttered, her fists clenched. We have to get her back. Grafia placed a hand on Surtsk's shoulder. Should I mobilize our forces, Surtsk-sama? Surtsk shook his head. Not yet. Let's see if this black flash is bluffing. In the meantime, we'll prepare for any contingencies. As the devils regrouped, the tension in the room lingered, with each of them wondering what Black Flash true motives were. Satria Mansion, Kyoto, Japan. The moment Satria's clone and Konako arrived at the mansion, Konako wasted no time expressing her frustration. Baka-senpai, she shouted before punching him square in the face. Satria staggered back, rubbing his cheek. Why did you hit me, dear? That hurt. Konako crossed her arms, glaring at him. Never do something like that again. Who told you to pull a ridiculous stunt like that? As Satria tried to respond, 3 sharp, predatory gazes locked onto the couple. Standing near the door were 3 women, each radiating their unique aura. You must be my husband's kitten, hey. Kia Him's voice was smooth yet dangerous, her smile sharp as a blade. Danasama told me so many interesting stories about you. Konako's eyes narrowed, her cat ears twitching. And who are you supposed to be? Before Kiyohime could answer, another voice chimed in. Kurika's little sister, or should I call you Chiron? Welcome to our family, Valyana greeted with a smirk. Konako's expression darkened. My name is Konako Tajao, not Chiron, she snapped, her voice cold. The third woman, Fran, stepped forward with a stormy expression. Her intense gaze was fixed on Satria. Another girl? And she smells like a cat? Thou dare have another kitten before me, Satria. Fran's tone was accusing, her aura suffused with quiet menace. Satria raised his hands defensively. To be fair, I met Konako before you, Fran. He sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. Are you really sure about this whole relationship thing? I mean, wouldn't it be better to wait until you're older, like, say, 17? You might regret rushing into something like this. Fran's sharp eyes softened only slightly. My turn to speak, she declared, cutting him off. After everything thou hast done for me, dost thou think there is anyone who could make me feel the way thou dost? Nay, Satria. Thou art my light in the cruel world I live in. I will not wait, and thou art stuck with me forever. Satria groaned, clearly unsure how to handle Fran's passionate declaration. I'm flattered, Fran, but this proposal feels like it's going to land me in jail. From the corner, Baban piped up, waving his arms frantically. No. Absolutely not. I do not accept this unholy union. Fran turned to him, her gaze stern. Shishao, behave yourself. Baban sulked, mumbling under his breath. My Fran has become rebellious, it's all that bastard's fault. Konako glanced at Fran, her eyes narrowing slightly. Who's the black cat, senpai? Satria placed a hand on each of their shoulders, giving them his best puppy dog eyes. She's the one I told you about on our date, Konako. I want you two to get along and be friends from now on, okay? The two girls sighed in unison before reluctantly shaking hands. My name is Konako Tajao. Nice to meet you, Konako said with a forced smile. Pleased to meet thee, Konako. I am Fran, and I hope we get along, Fran replied, her smile equally strained. Despite their polite words, a silent rivalry was brewing between the two, each determined to claim the title of Satria's favorite cat girl. Satria, blissfully unaware of the tension, clapped his hands together. Bravo! Look at you two, already becoming friends. The girls exchanged fleeting glances before muttering, sure, friends. Satria, beaming with pride, addressed the group. All right, everyone, let's get ready for our holiday. You all set? The girls nodded, and Satria opened the dimensional chat to purchase tickets. _____. Dimensional chat purchase. Coins, 105,000 copyright. World travel ticket, 1000 copyright for members, 2000 copyright for outsiders. You successfully bought 5 tickets. Coins, 97,500 copyright. Choose world to travel. You chose, God of Hope World. _____. A radiant light enveloped the group, transporting them to a new world. Off we go! Satria declared, grinning as they vanished into the unknown. Forested Massachusetts, Boston, United States. The group materialized in the middle of a dense forest, surrounded by towering trees and a faint mist clinging to the ground. The air was fresh, and the area felt alive with energy. Where are we right now, hubby? Valyana asked, glancing around with curiosity. Konako's ears twitched as she observed the surroundings. Are we really in another world, senpai? It feels surreal. But... She paused, closing her eyes for a moment. I can feel the natural energy gathering here. It's so warm. The serene atmosphere caused her cat-like features to emerge involuntarily, her tail swaying slightly. Satria stretched his arms, looking around with a grin. No idea where exactly, but yes, Konako, this is another world. Let me check in with the resident blonde dobe here. He opened the dimensional chat and sent a private message. Before anyone could relax, the ground trembled, shaking the earth beneath their feet. The distant sound of heavy footsteps grew louder until a massive, green T-Rex emerged from the trees. Its sharp teeth gleamed, and its predatory gaze locked onto the continue. Grrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr weapons ready. Finally, a strong opponent. Valyana said, her eyes gleaming with excitement. She was itching for a fight. Baban, floating near Fran, analyzed the creature. This beast is formidable. Fran, be cautious, it has excellent stats, especially in strength. Satria, however, had a different reaction. His eyes sparkled like a child's. It's a real T-Rex. Don't hurt her. I want her as my nakama, he exclaimed, practically bouncing with excitement. Kiyohime gave him an exasperated look. Where do you plan to keep a beast like that in our house? Be reasonable, dear. Satria pouted, turning to her with pleading eyes. But it's a T-Rex, Mom. Please let me take care of her. I promise I'll feed her and clean up after her. Kiyohime's expression didn't soften. My answer is still no. Before the argument could escalate, a gust of wind swept through the clearing. A figure appeared in a blur of motion, stepping between the group and the T-Rex. It was a blond man with whisker-like marks on his face, wearing an orange jacket. His presence radiated authority and calmness. Rexy, stop, he commanded. The T-Rex immediately halted, growling softly before retreating into the forest. Satria's eyes widened. Where did you get that beauty? Can you introduce me to her siblings? Naruto chuckled, shaking his head. She's one of a kind. I found her during an adventure in Nevada's dinosaur land with Hulk and his crew. Long story short, we stopped some lunatics trying to turn humans into dinosaurs. Valuna's voice interrupted. Albion. The dragon spirit inside her armor responded. Yes, this man is very powerful. Your husband surrounds himself with interesting allies, Valyuna. Valyuna smirked, eyeing Naruto like a predator sizing up its prey. I can see why. Hubby sure knows how to pick them. Meanwhile, Konako stared at Naruto, her golden eyes wide. The immense chakra emanating from him was beyond anything she'd ever felt. This man, there's no way he's human, she muttered. Naruto approached Fran first, his warm smile disarming. Fran-chan, it's been a while. You doing okay? Fran nodded politely. Good, thank you. Naruto then glanced at the rest of the group. And who are these lovely ladies with you, Satria? Satria puffed out his chest. They're my. Before he could finish, Kiyohime and Valyuna stomped on his feet simultaneously. My name is Matsumi Kiyohime, Kiyohime said, stepping forward. I'm his wife. Pleased to meet you. And I'm Matsumi Valyuna, also his wife, Valyuna added with a sharp smile. Naruto's face lit up. Nice to meet you both. I'm Uzumaki Naruto. Just call me Naruto. He turned to Konako next, his smile softening. And you must be Konako-chan. Finally, we meet. Konako blinked, confused by his familiarity. You know me? Naruto nodded. There's someone in my family who's been wanting to meet you. Thank you for coming all this way. Let's head to my home, I'll explain everything there. He gestured for the group to follow him. Satria grinned, patting Konako's shoulder. See? Told you this world would be interesting. Konako, still wary but curious, followed along with the rest of the group toward Naruto's home. To be continued. Chapter 81, Chapter 66. Second Chance. Naruto's mansion, nestled in the forested outskirts of Boston, Massachusetts, is a testament to timeless elegance. Constructed long before the Roman Empire, it embodies the architectural style of an ancient order dedicated to safeguarding humanity's free will, freedom, and peace. The mansion's enduring durability is attributed to the exceptional materials and craftsmanship of its era. Upon arrival, Satria and his family are greeted by the mansion's grandeur. Satria, initially expecting a Japanese or modern design, is taken aback by the European-inspired architecture. He remarks, "Nice house. I do not expect you to have this sort of preference. Where did you learn this style of architecture?" Naruto responds, "Thank you. It was given by my old friend the first time I arrived in this world. This house was built in the old era and belonged to the order that protected humanity's free will, freedom, and peace." Satria, still in awe, inquires, "How old?" Naruto replies, "Long before the Roman Empire." The conversation is interrupted as a white mist envelopes the area, obscuring their vision. A hand covers Satria's eyes, and he feels a bite on his ear. Recognizing the aura, he exclaims, "I don't have any idea how you can change your gender, but please don't use this form to do this, it feels super weird, Kurumi." Turning around, Satria is surprised to see a tall, black-haired man dressed in a slim-fit suit, colonel tie, single-breasted long trench coat, and knee-high boots. The man shares Kurumi's eyes and exudes elegance. Kurumi snaps her fingers, dispelling the mist. She then holds Satria's hand and pulls him into an embrace, saying, "Do I succeed in surprising you, dear? What do you think about my form now?" The family members, initially shocked by Kurumi's male form, are now amused by the playful interaction between her and Satria. Valyana remarks, he is Kurumi? How? Fran, still adjusting to the shared concepts, comments, what you want to do to him, evil spirit. Konako, observing the scene, asks Kiyohime, who is he? Kiyohime responds, she is one of the women my Danasama tied the knot to. I don't know if she can transform into a male. Satria, feeling overwhelmed, exclaims, why? Why have you girls always treated me like this? I demand some respect. Kurumi, amused, shushes him with a finger and teases, how cute, makes me want to kiss your cute lips now. Satria, flustered, pleads, no. If you want to kiss me, please use your woman form. My. Is this what they call BL? It's surprisingly delightful. Fatalis mused with wide-eyed wonder, her curiosity piqued by the scene unfolding before her. The others, equally taken aback, watched their sister-wife Kurumi in her male form confidently flirt with Satria, effortlessly dominating the interaction. The suave charisma Kurumi exuded left them momentarily dazed, and to their surprise, they found themselves secretly rooting for the couple. Kurumi let out a playful laugh and stepped back, snapping her fingers as her male form melted away. Just kidding, I'm sorry to startle you all, she said with a mischievous smile, returning to her original, feminine form. Gently, she looped her arm around Satria's, her expression soft and affectionate. Baban blinked repeatedly, trying to process what he just witnessed. It's so unreal. That hot dude turned into a very cute girl. What kind of world am I living in now? Satria, still visibly rattled, internally spiraled into existential dread. I'm safe, for now. I thought I was about to experience something unthinkable. She's dangerous, too dangerous. Has someone cursed me? Why is it that all the women around me are so weird and scary? The family members, now understand the playful dynamics, smile and enjoy the moment. Naruto, observing the scene, asks Satria, what, actually hell is going on? Is this a normal occurrence in your family? Satria, slightly embarrassed, denies, no. What do you think my family is? We are not a bunch of weirdos. His girls, however, share a knowing look and think, if you don't want our family to be called weird by others, please reflect on your actions first, stupid Satria. Upon entering the mansion, Satria and his companions were immediately struck by the interior's resemblance to a classic American colonial home. The space exuded an aesthetic charm that transported them back in time, evoking a sense of historical elegance. Where is your family? Satria inquired, noting the absence of any inhabitants. They're not residing here at the moment, but you'll meet them soon, Naruto replied. America has become a less favorable place to raise a family due to the increasing number of threats disrupting the peace. I agree. This place isn't exactly ideal, especially with all the trouble your Avengers team constantly deals with outside, Satria replied, nodding in understanding. Even without the added threats of meta-humans, terrorists, wars, and alien invasions, he could see why America wasn't the safest place to raise a family. Reflecting on his own experiences, Satria mused, not to judge, but in my past life, people in America seemed to embrace abnormalities as the norm, and that's something I could never quite wrap my head around. He shifted his thoughts to Japan. Great for vacations, but living there? Nope. Living in Japan had its challenges, he muttered to himself. People there are very individualistic, serious, and not too fond of foreigners. One time, I went out alone, and the way people stared at me made it clear they didn't want me around. It wasn't everyone, of course, but it's something I noticed. He sighed, continuing his rant. Everything's so expensive, and when you've got a house full of girls like I do, you have to think of 1,000 ways to keep everyone fed. You think my life is fun? Ha! You have no idea, pal. I'm just a high school boy in this world, and I've got to get creative to make ends meet for my family. He chuckled bitterly. That said, Japan has its good points too. The people are disciplined, the public facilities are top-notch, the infrastructure is excellent, and it's safe. Every country has its pluses and minuses. He paused for a moment, contemplating his life. As for my love life? Man, I'm suffering, but in happiness, I guess. Handling strong-willed women isn't for the faint-hearted. There, libido? Absurd. It's like they're competing for me every night. The hardest part is treating all of them fairly. I'm telling you, don't even think about having a harem. Seriously. Learn from my experience and just find one normal life partner. Trust me, it's for the best. Fatalis smirked, unable to resist teasing him. Apa aya? Dianime tidak begitu, she said with mock innocence. Aya, sayangku sintaku abis ninamba satu lagi, makin pusing kepala abang, Satria replied with exaggerated drama, making Fatalis giggle. Ingat, banyak istri, banyak rejeki. Harus banyak bersihukar. Fatalis cooed, her tone saccharine. And guawar. Wes, sudalela abang nih, Satria groaned, throwing up his hands in mock defeat. The group descended into the mansion's basement, where they stumbled upon a series of glowing purple portals that shimmered ominously in the dimly lit room. What is this? Baban asked, wide-eyed with curiosity. This, Naruto began, gesturing to the portals, is a network I've created, connecting this house to various places. How did you create these portals? Satria inquired. Naruto smiled modestly. It's not particularly difficult for me, he replied, drawing upon Illidan's memories. With a simple gesture, he conjured another portal as a demonstration. Observing intently, Satria discreetly traced the magical energies at play, effectively memorizing the spell. He then encapsulated the incantation into a floating card, ensuring he could recall the appropriated spell whenever needed. Naruto couldn't help but chuckle. You sly brat, he remarked, shaking his head. Satria offered a nonchalant shrug. Apologies, but I really needed this, he admitted. Naruto crossed his arms, giving him a deadpan look. You could have just asked, you know. Yeah, but where's the fun in that? Satria replied with a cheeky grin. Besides, it's survival of the smartest out here, right? Don't hate the player, hate the game. Naruto pinched the bridge of his nose, muttering something about troublesome kids, while the others chuckled at the exchange. Satria, meanwhile, patted his pocket where the floating card was safely stored, satisfied with his new acquisition. Now follow me through the portal, guys, Naruto said, stepping through the shimmering portal. Satria and the others followed, emerging into a spacious wooden townhouse, the classic Kyomashia style that was both elegant and timeless. The home was large enough to comfortably accommodate a big family, with its warm wooden beams and intricate design. Kyomashia, hey? Are we in Kyoto now, Naruto-san? Kiyohime asked, her eyes scanning the surroundings with interest. Baban chuckled softly. I never thought I'd set foot in Japan again after being reincarnated into another world. Life sure is full of surprises. You're right, Kiyohime-chan. How did you guess so quickly? Naruto asked, genuinely curious. Only Kyoto retains this refined culture while making efforts to preserve its traditions in the modern world, Kiyohime explained. You have an exquisite house, Naruto-san. Naruto beamed, proud of his home. Thank you, Kiyohime-chan. Kurumi, standing close to Satria, grinned mischievously. You're right, Naruto-san. This house is exactly my taste. Dear, how about we renovate our home to look like this? Wouldn't that be exciting? Satria raised an eyebrow and smirked, his playful tone matching hers. You'll need more than that to motivate me, my beautiful lady. My, is that a challenge? Kurumi purred, stepping closer with a sultry smile. I can be very persuasive when the moment requires it. Her eyes gleamed with playful intent. Before Satria could respond, Konako, still standing close by, gently took his hand, a quiet request for his attention. She didn't want to be left out of the conversation. I haven't forgotten about you, sweetie, Satria said with a soft chuckle, lifting Konako into his arms and nuzzling her cheek. So soft. This is Konako Tajao, one of our family members. I want you to get along with her, Kurumi. Konako's face flushed bright red, clearly embarrassed by the affectionate gesture. Senpai, don't do this to me, she muttered, hiding her face in his shoulder. Kurumi tilted her head, intrigued by the sight. Is she not a little too young? But she's undeniably adorable, like a little kitten. She smiled mischievously. Having a cat girl as a sister wife is a dream come true. I want to pamper her, just like Fran Chan. They're both so cute, so delicious, she purred, her eyes glinting with a strange desire. Konako stiffened, her face growing even redder. I'm just 1 year younger than Senpai, she protested, a mix of frustration and shyness in her voice. Please, don't treat me like a kid. Fran, standing nearby, could sense the tension and a chill ran down her spine. What is this strange feeling, she thought, instinctively pulling back. I feel like this woman's plotting something. Her instincts screamed at her to distance herself from Kurumi. There was something dangerous about her. As the group settled into the living room, they were greeted by familiar faces. Jiraiya? Esdeath? What are you both doing here? Satria asked, surprised to see them. Jiraiya grinned. Long time no see, Shin. I'm just visiting my grandchildren, nothing more, nothing less. Esdeath, dressed in her black military uniform, nodded. Indeed. It's been a while, Satria. Satria's gaze shifted to a handsome black-haired man in a black suit. So. You are Uchiha Itaki. Itaki replied, acknowledging Satria's presence. Without warning, Satria moved with light speed, delivering a punch to attack his face. Itaki was sent sprawling into the garden, his Sharingan unable to track Satria's movement. The room fell silent, everyone shocked by the sudden violence. Why did he attack him? Baban exclaimed. Fran responded, her voice tinged with anger. Itaki is the one who massacred his own clan to protect a village that discriminated against them. Satria values family above all else and despises such betrayal. Baban was taken aback. Is there no other way to solve their problems? That was insane. Naruto stepped forward, his expression stern. Satria, stop this. Not in front of the children and inside my house. Satria's eyes narrowed. I don't have business with you, Dobe. Answer me, Itaki. If I give you a second chance, are you going to repeat your foolishness? Naruto's demonic aura flared. Keep this attitude up, and I will stand against you without hesitation. Itaki is under my protection. The children began to cry, sensing the tension. Fran and Kurumi quickly intervened, trying to calm Satria. Itaki, blood trickling from his mouth and a few teeth missing, struggled to his feet. He placed a trembling hand on Naruto's shoulder. I deserve this, Naruto-kun. Allow me to speak with him, Itaki requested, his voice hoarse. Naruto nodded solemnly and stepped back, giving Itaki space. Itaki turned to Satria, his eyes filled with regret. I understand your anger toward me, Itaki began. What I did to my family can't be forgiven. But please, let me clear the misunderstanding with my little brother first before you end me. I don't want my brother to put his fang on my village because of me. Satria's eyes narrowed, his fists clenched. I don't care about your pitiful plea to protect your village, which forced you to do horrible things to your clan, Satria retorted coldly. Dying won't solve the problem, you moron. It's just an easy way to escape from your guilt. With a swift motion, Satria delivered a powerful punch to Itaka's stomach. Ack! Itaka groaned in pain, doubling over. At that moment, a small, purple-haired girl stepped forward, her eyes wide with concern. Stop! Don't hurt Itaki Uni-sama more than this, she cried, standing protectively in front of Itaki. Masaki! Naruto exclaimed, his voice laced with worry. Masaki-chan, Itaka whispered, surprised by his niece's defense. Fran and Kurumi quickly moved to Satria's side, attempting to calm him. Satria! I know you cherish your family more than anything, but you're taking this too far, Kurumi said, holding his left arm. Just stop this, Satria. Are you not ashamed of your actions? Remember where we are right now. There are children here watching you, and I don't want the man I love to act this arrogantly, Fran added, holding his right arm and trying to stop him. Satria's eyes flashed with authority as he addressed them. Don't interrupt me, you two. This is my business with him, not yours. Behave. The pressure in his voice was palpable, and both girls quivered, kneeling before him. We're sorry, beloved, they apologized in unison, their heads bowed. Satria turned back to Itaki, his gaze unwavering. I ask you again, are you willing to change, Uchiha Itaki? Your family wouldn't want you to follow them, I assure you. Itaki's shoulders slumped, his voice barely a whisper. What do you want me to do? I don't have a goal to achieve. My life is too grim for me to be happy in this world. Satria's expression softened, his tone firm yet compassionate. Let me be blunt, if your goal is only to be killed by Sasuke and end your life, I'd rather end it now than help you. You are a genius, strong, and have a sense of justice. Someone willing to sacrifice yourself for others' sake. Go use your talent and brain to change the world instead of dying meaninglessly. If you want to redeem yourself, you must keep living to prevent another case like yours from happening again. Itaka's eyes widened, the weight of Satria's words sinking in. How do I do that? Satria extended his hand, his voice resolute. Reach my hand and become my nakama, Uchiha Itaki. I will provide you with a new path, and together we will pave a better future for everyone, including your clan. The room remained silent, the tension palpable as Itaka contemplated Satria's offer. The weight of his past actions hung heavily in the air, but the possibility of redemption glimmered before him. As he reached out to grasp Satria's hand, a sense of resolve settled over him. Perhaps, just perhaps, there was a way to atone for his sins and build a future where his clan's legacy could be honored. The others watched in silence, the atmosphere heavy with anticipation. Naruto's expression softened, a mixture of relief and hope in his eyes. Kurumi and Fran exchanged glances, their earlier apprehension giving way to cautious optimism. In that moment, a new chapter began for Itaki, one where the path to redemption was uncertain but no longer closed. Kiyohime observed Satria with a small, approving smile. She had always known that choosing him as her husband was the best decision she had ever made. This was the Satria she admired, the man who inspired others to follow him. Valyana, standing nearby, felt a surge of desire. Seeing Satria's commanding presence awakened a deep longing within her. Konako, on the other hand, was speechless. She had always known Satria as playful and cunning, but now he exuded an aura of a monarch. He radiated a brilliant light that brought warmth and serenity, making those around him want to follow and trust him. Jiraiya, observing the scene, felt a pang of concern. He had always valued the village's strength and was wary of talented ninjas like Itaka defecting. Asteth watched with interest, curious about the surprises Satria might reveal in the future. Artoria, ever cautious, noted the rapid shift in Satria's demeanor. The ease with which he switched gears made her wary of the potential dangers of having him as an enemy. Naruto, standing by, was intrigued by the path Satria had promised to Itaki. He wondered what this new alliance would mean for their future. Itaka stood there, astounded by Satria's words. The man before him was unlike anyone he had ever encountered in the shinobi world. It felt as though he were standing before a supreme being. Deep inside, Itake wanted to change, but the weight of his sins was almost unbearable. Doubts clouded his mind. Did someone like him even deserve a second chance at life? Yet, Satria's words resonated with him. He couldn't remain a coward forever. Maybe following this man was the way forward. I want to change, to become a better person than I am now, Itake replied, extending his hand to Satria, ready to escape the darkness that had consumed him for so long. Good answer. Satria's hand glowed with a golden beam, enveloping Itake in light as it healed his body, eradicating his ailments. Itake staggered back slightly, astonished. What did you do to me, Satria-kun? He asked, feeling his body surge with vitality. It was a miracle. He felt stronger than ever, as if his past had been completely washed away. I healed your illness, Satria said casually, a slight grin on his face. As a boss, I must create a healthy environment for my nakama. Itake bowed deeply, his gratitude sincere. Thank you for trusting me, for giving me a second chance. I promise to be loyal to you, Satria-sama, and help you achieve your goals. Satria looked into Itake's eyes, sensing no deceit in his heart. I'm glad to hear it, he replied, acknowledging Itake's vow. Inside his mind, Satria added, as you wish. I'll give him a chance. Let's hope this doesn't come back to bite us later. Meanwhile, Fatalis observed the scene, a small smirk playing on her lips. Thank you for pardoning him, puppy, she said, her voice sweet. Everything's going according to my plan. Satria noticed the little girl standing before him, visibly shivering, and he knelt to her level with a gentle smile. I'm sorry for scaring you, little lady. What's your name? My name is Uzumaki Masaki, she answered, her voice soft. Masaki. That's a beautiful name, Satria said as he reached into his pocket, pulling out a piece of paper and a pen. Want to play a game? Write down what you want on this paper and keep it hidden from me. Masaki nodded, eagerly taking the paper and scribbling her wish on it before hiding the paper in her palm. Now, close your eyes and count from 3 to 0, Satria instructed, his tone warm and encouraging. Masaki began counting, her eyes closed tight. 3, 2, 1, 0. When she opened her eyes, the paper she held had transformed into a purple plushy unicorn. How did the paper become the unicorn I wanted? Is this for me, Unii-chan? Masaki asked, her eyes sparkling with delight. Yes, it is, Satria replied with a soft chuckle, gently patting her head. It's my way of apologizing to you, little princess. Please accept it. Masaki blushed, clutching the plushie to her chest, her face hidden behind it as she whispered, "Thank you." Before the moment could linger, a sudden voice cut through the air. Satria. All his girls turned to him with piercing glares. "Don't you dare steal my little princess from me, bastard!" Naruto yelled, pulling his daughter closer and glaring at Satria with protective fury. "Hey? What did I do?" Satria blinked, completely bewildered. He had only meant to apologize, nothing more. "Why are you all looking at me like that? I just wanted to be kind." "Because, you're a lolicon," Fatalis casually dropped the bombshell, her smirk sly. "What? Unbelievable. I'm not a lolicon." Satria quickly protested, his eyes wide. "For proof, I rejected Fran like a proper gentleman before." "True." Fatalis acknowledged, though she didn't look entirely convinced. "But, you'll accept her at some point, right?" Satria paused. "I mean, I've given her the choice and the time. If she still hasn't changed her mind in the future, then I'll take responsibility for her." His words hung in the air, awkwardly. "See? That's enough proof, Fatalis smirked. You're a lolicon. No. Let's be real here. Fran and I only have a 3-year gap. That doesn't make me a lolicon, you stupid neat dragon. Satria argued. Geez. He's back to his usual self again, Fatalis muttered, rolling her eyes. Baka Satria. To be continued. Chapter 82, Chapter 67. Release the neat dragon. After the tumultuous events at the Uzumaki household, Satria took responsibility for repairing the damage he had caused. Meanwhile, Fran, Baban, Vaporeon, and Naruto's wives engaged in playful activities with their children, bringing a sense of normalcy back to the home. In another part of the house, Kurumi and Valyana engaged in a discussion with his death, delving into topics that would unsettle most listeners. True to her nature, Valyana sought challenges from formidable opponents, requesting sparring sessions with both Esteth and Artoria. While Artoria remained focused on enjoying the assortment of cakes and snacks before her, Esteth accepted Valyana's proposal, eager to test her strength against a worthy adversary. As for Satria, his earlier impulsive actions had not gone unnoticed. Uzumaki Ria, embodying the nurturing essence of the Titaness of motherhood, took it upon herself to address his behavior. She set him down, her demeanor both stern and compassionate, and began to speak. Young man, I understand your frustration with Itaki, but you must be mindful of your surroundings and the potential consequences of your actions. What if the children had been harmed or, worse, decided to emulate your behavior? Such conduct sets a poor example for the young and impressionable. Your parents would be disappointed to see you act this way. As the head of your family, it's imperative that you reflect on your actions and strive to become a better person, someone your family can take pride in. Satria, feeling the weight of her words, nodded in acknowledgement. Yes, I recognize my mistake. You remind me of my mother when you speak to me like this. Can we conclude this discussion? We've been here for over an hour now. Ria's expression softened slightly, but her resolve remained firm. Understanding your fault is the first step toward growth. Remember, it's my duty to guide the younger generation and correct their flaws. At least you show a deep love for your family, unlike some of my own children. Kiyohime, sensing the tension easing, gently placed Satria's head on her shoulder, her fingers threading through his hair in a soothing manner. Thank you, Ria-san, for imparting some wisdom to my husband. He's been quite unruly lately and hasn't been listening to us. Ria offered a gentle smile. It's no trouble at all, Kiyohime-san. Guiding young ones is part of my role. Your husband has a good heart, he just needs occasional reminders to stay on the right path. As she spoke, memories of her own offspring surfaced, particularly the trio of Olympian brothers whose arrogance and disregard for others' well-being often led to chaos. Despite their flaws, they remained her children, and she couldn't bring herself to hate them. Observing Satria's genuine love for his family, she felt a renewed hope that, with proper guidance, he would avoid the pitfalls that had ensnared her own sons. A fleeting thought crossed her mind: if Hestia, the goddess of the hearth and home, were to meet this boy, she might find his familial devotion endearing. Perhaps, in another time, they could have formed a meaningful connection. But for now, Ria's focus remained on guiding the young man before her, ensuring he remained a source of pride for those he held dear. Chiron. Konako froze at the familiar voice. Turning, she found herself face to face with someone she thought she would never see again, Kurika, her estranged older sister and an SS-rank criminal of the underworld. In Kurika's arms rested a small baby girl, her blonde and black hair blending seamlessly in soft waves. Hubby, Kurika addressed Naruto gently, her voice laced with weariness, can you take care of Fujimi for me? Naruto nodded without hesitation, taking the child from her arms. As he cradled Fujimi, Kurika stepped toward Konako, but the younger Nico Shao instinctively recoiled, her golden eyes narrowing. Don't come closer to me, Konako said sharply, her tone colder than Naruto had ever heard. Why? Why did you abandon me? Kurika's confident facade cracked, tears glistening in her violet eyes. I am sorry, Chiron. I can. My name is Konako Tajao, Konako interrupted, venom lacing her voice. Not Chiron. Don't ever call me that again. Kurika flinched but pressed on, her voice trembling. But, that's the name mother gave you. Why would you? Because the person who gave me that name is gone. Konako shot back, her composure finally breaking. Gone, just like you. You abandoned me. Left me alone with the devil. And now you dare to show up here and ask for forgiveness? Why, Ne-sama? Why did you abandon me? Kurika fell silent, her tears falling freely. I'm sorry. I was weak. If I were stronger, braver, I wouldn't have left you to face that monster alone. I failed you, Chiron. I've carried that guilt every day since, and I... Enough. Konako's voice cracked as she spun away. I don't need your apologies. I needed my sister back then, not now. And don't call me Chiron. But please, Kurika pleaded, her voice breaking. Give me a chance to make it up to you. I want us to be a family again. This time, I swear I'll protect you, no matter what. You can leave the devils and come live with me. Let me keep you safe this time. Konako stiffened at her words but shook her head. Her voice was softer now but still firm. No, I already have a family. Without another glance at her sister, Konako turned and started walking away. I need some time alone. Don't disturb me. The room fell silent as Konako disappeared into the hallway, her footsteps echoing faintly. Kurika sank to her knees, her body trembling as she sobbed. Kurika. Naruto's voice broke the silence, filled with gentle concern. He knelt beside her, still holding Fujimi, who reached out her tiny hand toward her mother. Mama. Fujimi's soft, innocent voice broke through Kurika's despair, her worried expression tugging at Kurika's heart. Kurika forced a small, trembling smile, gathering her husband and daughter into a loving embrace. She pressed her cheek against Fujimi's soft hair, drawing comfort from the warmth of her family. I'm sorry for worrying you both, she murmured, her voice still thick with emotion. Do you think Chiron will ever forgive me? Naruto placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder, his voice calm and steady. She's hurt, Kurika, but I know she still loves you deep down. Give her time. When she's ready, she'll come back to you, and you'll both heal together. Kurika nodded slowly, her tears finally beginning to subside. Holding her family close, she allowed herself to hope, even if just a little. Satria knocked gently on the door where Konako had secluded herself. He paused, waiting for a response. Do you mind if I come in? He asked softly. You can enter, senpai, came her quiet reply from within. Hearing her permission, Satria opened the door to find Konako sitting by the window, her small frame curled up as she stared blankly outside. Her usual stoic demeanor was replaced with a shadow of sadness, making her seem even smaller. He closed the door behind him and walked over, sitting down beside her. Want to talk? He asked gently. Konako nodded, not meeting his gaze. What should I do about my sister? I never thought I'd see her again, much less here. Her voice cracked slightly. I find it so hard to forgive her for abandoning me. Every time I think about it, I get angry, and hurt. Satria's expression softened. Without saying a word, he pulled her into a warm hug. Konako stiffened for a moment but then relaxed, leaning into his comforting embrace. She loved the warmth he brought, the sense of safety that always seemed to surround him. Quit. Don't quit. Forgive. Don't forgive. You're so caught up in what was and what will be, Konako, Satria began, his voice calm yet profound. There's a saying, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. Konako tilted her head, looking up at him with confused eyes. How is today a gift? Satria smiled gently. I know it's hard to forgive her after everything that happened. But Kurika is still your sister, your family. No matter what she did in the past, she's here now, trying to make amends. Not everyone gets that chance. You have the opportunity to repair what was broken. That's why today is a gift, Konako. Fate is giving you the chance to choose. Hate only leads to pain. Let go of the past and decide what you want for your future with her. Follow your heart. Konako remained silent, his words sinking in deeply. Her heart wavered, torn between resentment and the faint hope of reconnecting with her sister. She couldn't deny the truth in Satria's words. Her sister's presence, her apology, and even her tears were sincere. Perhaps it was time to let go of the pain she'd been carrying for so long. This is why I love you, Konako murmured, leaning into him. You always know what to say. Satria chuckled, brushing a strand of her silver hair behind her ear. You'll figure it out, Konako. Just take your time. What a terrifying puppy, Fatalis mused, her voice laced with equal parts admiration and concern. He's so talented at crafting his words, weaving them in ways that draw people to trust him completely. Honestly, he could be a doctor or a lawyer in the future if he wasn't so, well, him. She sighed. I can't decide whether to be proud or terrified of this sweet boy. Konako smiled softly, her heart feeling lighter. Thank you, Satria, she whispered, leaning up to press her lips to his. The kiss caught Satria off guard. He blinked, his thoughts scattering as her soft lips met his. It wasn't like the fiery passion he'd felt with Kiyohime or Valyuna, nor the teasing affection of Kurumi. This was different, gentle, pure, and full of trust. It reminded him of the way his old cat used to nuzzle into his hand, a quiet sign of complete love and devotion. When she pulled back, she gazed at him, her cheeks slightly pink. That was my first kiss, she whispered. What do you think about it? It was perfect, he finally replied, his voice filled with sincerity. Konako smirked, her confidence returning. Want me to do it again? You know, just so you're sure. Satria laughed, his grin widening. You read my mind. Konako chuckled, leaning in once more. This time, she kissed him more deliberately, her lips lingering longer. The warmth of their connection spread through her, melting away any lingering doubts. As she pulled back, she smirked triumphantly. I win, Black Cat, she thought to herself smugly. Told you white is superior to black. Fran's frustration was evident as she muttered, I don't know why, but I badly want to smack someone right now. Her thoughts were interrupted by a cheerful voice. Fran Ne-chan. Let's play, and can you show me your magic trick again? Turning, Fran saw Uzumaki Ashla, a young boy with blonde hair and blue eyes, looking up at her expectantly. A gentle smile spread across her face. I'll be right there, she replied, setting aside her earlier irritation. Meanwhile, Kurumi cradled Kurika's daughter in her arms, gently stroking the child's chin. The little girl responded with a soft purr. Kurumi's eyes sparkled with delight. So cute! Is this what it's like to have a baby? Having children with Satria, phew, that must be interesting. Nearby, Kurika observed Valyuna with a mix of surprise and curiosity. Are you truly the White Dragon Empress? She inquired, her disbelief evident. Valyuna's expression remained stoic. I prefer to be called Emperor rather than Empress. And to answer your question, yes. Without warning, Kurika leapt toward Valyuna, enveloping her in a warm embrace. Naya! You are my leader without a doubt. Let's be friends, Valyuna-chan. Caught off guard, Valyuna struggled to free herself, her voice muffled against Kurika's ample bosom. I can't breathe, release me, you foolish woman. At a nearby table, Kiyohime took a delicate sip of tea, her refined demeanor evident. This is quite a fine tea. Is this a blend of sencha, matcha, and toasted brown rice? Saiko's eyes widened in admiration. Incredible. Only one sip, and you guessed correctly. Satria-san is fortunate to have a wife like you, Kia-him-chan. Kiyohime offered a modest smile. I have lived a long life and have come to know many things, Saiko-san. Lara Croft, ever the inquisitive archaeologist, leaned forward with keen interest. If you don't mind me asking, how long have you lived? I'm curious about your history. Kiyohime paused thoughtfully. I was born during the early reign of Emperor Daigo. Lara's eyes sparkled with excitement. That would place your birth around 920 CE. Fascinating. How did you transform from a human into a dragon? Is it true you fell in love with a monk and burned him inside a bell when he rejected you? Before Kiyohime could respond, Ria interjected gently. Lara, it's impolite to delve into such painful memories. Lara's enthusiasm dimmed slightly. I apologize, Kia-him-san. My curiosity got the better of me. Kiyohime waved off the concern gracefully. It's quite all right, Ria-san. The past no longer holds sway over me. Yes, I did burn him inside the bell. As for my transformation into a dragon, it was driven by overwhelming anger and despair upon his rejection. Lara nodded appreciatively. Thank you for sharing. Now, if I may ask, what led you to choose this Satria as your spouse? Historical accounts suggest you were deeply obsessed with the monk. Why him? A serene expression settled on Kia-him's face. Satria is a remarkable man. Despite his reluctance to engage, he strives to reach the pinnacle so that none may disturb him. Our meeting was unexpected, he was the first in 500 years to brave my domain. Initially, I intended to end his life, but his resilience and character proved him worthy as my spouse. That's all I can share for now. Lara smiled warmly. I appreciate your openness, Kiyohime. Thank you. Jiraiya's expression hardened as he confronted Itaki. Are you certain about abandoning our village, Itaki-kun? Itaki met his gaze steadily. It's time to forge a new path for my clan. Konoha has failed us, I choose to place my trust elsewhere. Jiraiya sighed, acknowledging the village's shortcomings, especially concerning the Uchiha. Danzo's actions have caused irreparable harm. Why does the old man continue to protect him? I can't dissuade you, can I? Jiraiya's tone was resigned. But know this, by betraying the village, you'll become a target for every ninja. What about your brother? I can't guarantee his safety if you turn against Konoha. Itaki's eyes shifted to the Mangekyo Sharingan, his voice cold. Are you threatening me, as others from Konoha have before? Before Jiraiya could react, he found himself ensnared in Itaki's Tsukuyomi. When did he cast this genjutsu? My people. Itaki's voice echoed within the illusion. The same who coerced me into annihilating my own clan? Thanks to Satria-sama, I've seen the truth. Harm my brother, and Konoha will face retribution. Jiraiya's heart weighed heavy with the realization that Itaki's resolve was unshakable, and the consequences of his departure would ripple through the village. Satria and Konako exited the room, approaching Naruto. Konako's gaze shifted to Kurika, her emotions in turmoil. Satria leaned in, whispering softly, "Go ahead. This is your chance. Remember, I'm right here supporting you." Drawing strength from his words, Konako gently released herself from Satria's embrace and approached her sister. "Konako-chan." Kurika's voice trembled with surprise as she watched her sister come closer. Taking a deep breath, Konako spoke, "I'm sorry for how I acted earlier, Kurika-ne-sama. Can we start over?" A radiant smile spread across Kurika's face as tears of joy welled up in her eyes. Without hesitation, she enveloped Konako in a warm embrace. Thank you, Naya. I promise I'll never forsake you again, Kurika whispered, her voice filled with emotion. Meanwhile, Satria turned to Naruto, his expression resolute. Dobe. I've held up my end. Now, it's time for you to fulfill your promise. Naruto nodded, acknowledging the agreement. As promised, I'll help you free the entity within you. With that, he conjured a shimmering purple portal, stepping through it alongside Satria. Observing the scene, Kurumi's curiosity was piqued. Friend? Is there something inside Satria-kun? She inquired, glancing at Kiyohime. Kiyohime nodded gently. According to Danasama, there are dragons residing within him. He seeks to set them free. Albion, speaking from Valuna's hand, added, is that wise? The dragon's aura I sense rivals my own power or that of Drake. In my case, if I were separated from Valyuna, she would lose access to my abilities. Valyuna, ever confident, reassured them, no need to worry. Trust in our husband, he always knows what's best for us. As the group pondered the unfolding events, the bond between the sisters began to mend, and Satria embarked on his journey to confront the dragons within. Satria and Naruto stood in the dojo of the Uzumaki family in Boston, preparing for the task ahead. Let's begin, shall we? Put your fist to me as usual. Satria clenched his hand, and they exchanged a fist bump. Naruto entered Satria's mindscape, his eyes widening in surprise at the unfamiliar surroundings. What the hell is this place? It's the first time I've seen this kind of mindscape. Naruto observed three distinct paths. Left path, a desolate land shrouded in darkness, exuding an aura of fiery pain and suffering. Right path, a serene landscape illuminated by a miniature sun, with a gentle breeze and the sweet scent of meadow flowers, offering a sense of peace. Center path, a cave with someone standing outside, beckoning him. Over here, Dobe. Satria called, waving from the center path. Naruto approached, curiosity piqued. You've got some serious stuff inside you, brat. What are you? Naruto inquired, seeking clarity. Hey? I'm just a normal human and ordinary high school student you can find everywhere, Satria replied, though he felt uncertain about his own identity. Naruto sighed. No ordinary human is like you, brat. But let's leave it that way for now and finish our job. They ventured into the cave, which had a natural opening extending beyond the zone of light. The interior was vast, with various rocks and black crystals shimmering due to the gathered mana. After traversing several miles, they finally arrived at their destination. A massive black dragon awaited them. The dragon's presence was imposing, its scales gleaming with an otherworldly sheen. Naruto, sensing the immense power, turned to Satria. Is this the friend you mentioned? Satria nodded. Yes, this is Fatalis. It's time to free her. Satria and Naruto stood before Fatalis in the vast cave, preparing to release the dragon from her confinement. Finally! You adventurous souls have come. I need you. Fatalis began in a majestic tone, only to be interrupted by Satria. Skib. Satria said bluntly, his impatience showing. I need you too. Skib. My life is full of sorrow, the humans attack me and fear my existence. Skib. Fatalis' patience started to wear thin as she tried to explain. I need a benevolent adventurer to liberate me from the chains they. Skib. Satria interjected again, rubbing his stomach in a mock gesture of hunger. Can we just free her and move on? I'm starving now, Satria whined, clearly uninterested in another long monologue. Can you at least listen? Skib. Fatalis glared at him, her frustration mounting. At least let me finish my. Skib. Satria said, interrupting again, which made Fatalis lose her cool. No. No. You will not skip me, young man. I have important matters to discuss with you, idiot. Fatalis roared, her voice filled with fury. Satria's expression remained calm, but he couldn't help but wonder, is she, on her period? His poker face remained unmoved as he processed the situation. Naruto, watching the exchange between the two, sweat dropped. These two have a deep connection, hey. Fatalis, now furious, pointed a large claw toward Satria and advanced toward him, her face inches from his. You know what? I'm getting sick and tired of your nonsense. You're a troublesome brat, but at least show some common courtesy and listen to what this lady has to say. Not if you understand your fault, little puppy. Satria, slightly terrified, nodded meekly, yes, ma'am. Good boy, Fatalis purred. If I ever catch you skipping another one of my majestic speeches, I'll make sure all your girls find out about all the embarrassing and stupid things you do. Understand? Satria's face turned pale. No. Please don't do that, Fatalis-sama. I'm sorry for offending such a great being like you. He quickly begged for mercy. Fatalis smiled smugly, enjoying his discomfort. Very well, I accept your apology. Naruto, clearly annoyed by the comedic exchange, finally spoke up. Excuse me, but can we proceed with the task at hand? Sorry, Naruto-san, but can you free me? The sealing technique is beyond us, and it's too complicated for us to figure out. I'd be forever in your debt if you can free me from this place, Fatalis asked, her tone shifting to one of sincerity. Naruto nodded, cracking his knuckles. Leave it to me. As a member of the Uzumaki clan, Naruto was a seal master. He examined the seal holding Fatalis in place, carefully studying the intricate design. After a moment of concentration, he began to understand how the seal worked. He formed the necessary hand seals and activated the Uzumaki insignia, which appeared on every side of Fatalis. Third step, unchained formation. Naruto shouted, and the insignia began to glow brightly. The seal holding Fatalis started to melt away as the fire element within the technique scorched the bindings. Flame Purgatory. Naruto chanted, his chakra and magical energy working in unison as the fire engulfed the seal, burning away every restraint. Ak! Fatalis howled in pain as the flame seared through her body. Despite being a dragon of fire, the technique still inflicted significant damage. Finally, the seal disappeared entirely, and Fatalis was freed. Naruto breathed heavily, exhausted from the effort. That technique took a lot out of me, he thought. Who the hell came up with this seal? Satria quickly placed a hand on Fatalis' body, using his Cosmo Force to heal her. A green hue enveloped her form, soothing the wounds caused by the fiery purge. Satria? Wait. I'm free. Yay! Fatalis cheered, her mood instantly lightened. She ran around in circles, grinning at Satria. Thank you. You've kept your promise. Satria smiled warmly. You're welcome. Nothing makes me happier than seeing my partner happy. Suddenly, Fatalis was engulfed in flames, her form shifting as her dragon body morphed into a beautiful woman. She now had long purple hair, black horns, and enchanting scarlet eyes. Her figure was undeniably alluring, with a body that seemed to defy gravity. Satria groaned. Of course, you can turn into a beautiful girl too. Here we go again, more trouble. Fatalis smirked, stepping closer to him. Remember what I said before? You should be honored to have the great Fatalis accompany you on your adventures from now on, my precious boy. Without warning, she kissed him, pulling him into a deep French kiss. Satria, caught off guard, didn't resist as Fatalis took her time to enjoy the moment. Naruto, standing off to the side, could only blink in confusion. Are they forgetting about me? After a long, passionate kiss, Fatalis pulled away with a satisfied smile. Wow! You must take responsibility for this lewd action against my sexy lips. Satria, with a teasing grin, replied, I guess I'll have to, hey? What do you want from me now, Fatalis? Fatalis chuckled, her eyes gleaming with mischief. Sure, no matter what happens, we're sticking together forever. Take care of me from now on, my love. Naruto, still speechless, raised an eyebrow at the bizarre duo. Guess I'll just leave you two to it then. And with that, Satria, Naruto, and their newfound companion Fatalis, now in human form, prepared for the next phase of their journey. To be continued.